Hello, and welcome back to Roll4It, where here human students get together to play some lovely tabletop RPGs. Today, of course, we are playing Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition, Sounds of Silence, which is the third to last episode of this season. And, I'm not ready for it. Just putting it bluntly right there. So, I don't want to start, but okay. Right. First things first, announcements. I think we just had a load of stuff related to the Stargate show go up, like a load of secrets and behind-the-scenes stuff from Lauren, so if you want to go check that at the GM tier, you can. There is a poster coming in the next few days. I'm not sure exactly when it goes up, but it's a good poster. I already have it as a wallpaper. It's good. You should check it out. Secondly, well, it's thirdly, I think there's nothing else. So, if you want to support the show, go support us on Patreon. The number of tiers and different rewards where you can support stuff like MP3s, behind-the-scenes information on characters, behind-the-scenes information on GM stuff, plots, occasionally votes to see small changes and what happens in the game. And of course, there's higher stuff like names that we can chuck into like be NPCs of the show. And of course, stuff more like Legend tier games, when a member of the Roll4It community will GM a session for everyone at the Legend tier. I believe... Bob, are you doing part 2 of your Pathfinder?
Yes, I am.
So this month is part 2 of Pathfinder with Bub. Next month, God knows, but it'll be interesting. Right. You can also support on Twitch. Hi, everyone on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, sorry. You can support by subscribing, which gets you access to our Discord, just like if you're a Patreon. And you get access to some lovely emotes. In addition, you can get access to the VODs for the go up on YouTube, which only takes 24 hours because they take time to process. And, of course, if you want these bits or tips and they go into the jar down there and then physics happens, you may do so as well. Kendrick, that is a very well-timed one. There we go. And, of course, if you want to support in a non-monetary way or you want to support in addition to another way, just let people know about the show. Tell them tell friends, tweet, stick bumper stickers on your car, graffiti, don't graffiti things at all. Tattoo them on people while they sleep. Don't do that one either. Basically get inventive, but don't be too illegal with it. That's right, yes. I don't know why I'm looking for Dot for advice. She's not the moral compass here. Right.
I am not. You do not. I am never your moral compass. Don't do as Dot does.
Okay, I'm not sure why I'm looking for anyone here for a moral compass.
True.
So yeah. Do something inventive. You know, go on Reddit and repost it in an applicable subreddit or something. I don't know. Anyway, with that, I don't know if there's a support today because Bentham isn't replying to me. Hopefully he will reply to me now. Either way, I'm going to do the warning, the content warning. Hi. Welcome to Vampire the Masquerade. Vampire the Masquerade is, by default, a setting which is full of lovely, horrible people who do pretty horrible things. Namely, us. We are playing characters. We are not playing ourselves, so anything we do as characters is the characters. We're just role-playing them. Don't, like, take it out on us. They're just horrible people. There isn't support today. There we go. And try not to hold that against the players. Secondly, if there's anything that's disturbing or particularly not meshes well for you as a person in the show, feel free to take a break, get a cup of tea, mute the video for a little bit, or if you need to skip a video, don't mark yourself on our account. This is just us playing some C-tip RPGs, so, you know, don't worry about it. You don't have to, like, push yourself to watch something if that is going to cause harm to you. Other than that, yeah, basically enjoy the show, and this is the third last session. I'm not worried at all.
I am.
Me too, bub.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I'm not.
Mathis,
What's up?
my body is ready.
Have you ever been worried, Mathis? I wish I could read chat what you messaged me this morning. What was that? I should. Oh, it's my fault for trusting you?
I didn't say it was your fault, did I? Was it those words exactly? I said it was your mistake to make.
My mistake to make. Excuse me.
I'm
Oh.
just saying.
All the mistakes.
You said I trust you.
I think I know what that's about.
And you said, yeah, you can read it. I mean, it was a very short thing. I just said, you just said you trust me, kind of. And I said that was your mistake to make.
Correct.
I said you made it this far, though, so not necessarily misplaced.
Yeah, everything's fine. This is fine.
Maths is literally Littlefinger. I did warn you not to trust me.
It's not me. You're vampires in a kindred society. Don't trust those that you walk amongst, including your party. So, are we going? Are we ready to dive in?
Wait, what? Wait, what? And what do you mean, including your part? What?
Are you ready? Are we ready to go?
This is ripping off a Band-Aid type situation. Like, I think we have to.
I've been ready for 2 weeks. I am like I have missed this game.
It's your fault if you've got a social life.
Then let's continue. We actually left off the last session with quite the cliffhanger. One we're not going to be resolving right away, unfortunately, as Ollie stands right before Rudy. In fact, we're going to rewind a couple of nights, move the camera down to an alleyway where a date had been agreed to between Rudy and our good friend Dakota. Rudy had kind of, as he does, appeared out of nowhere. Seemed to be in the right place at the right time, or at the very least, wherever you are, he finds himself. And after a little bit of an exchange of a back and forth, as Dakota was on her way to the Ivory Tower, he said to follow him, and he'd like to have at the very least a conversation with you before anything drastic is done. Dakota was a little weary, but that's to be expected, but eventually agreed and made their way off. In Dakota's mind, people are expecting her, so if she goes missing, that'd be a cause for concern. Yeah, especially.
What did I say? 48 hours is what I told them.
Yep, about 48 hours or so. So we find ourselves somewhere in Chicago, down some back alleys and some rough areas of the city. You know, where this particular coterie tends to find themselves more often than not. And Dakota is walking side by side with Rudy for quite a while. Is there any conversation would Dakota just wait for Rudy to say something, or would she be impatient?
Yeah, she would probably be talking his ear off, asking lots of questions. So you're Rudy.
He wouldn't say anything to that.
Quiet, silent type, I see.
It's a while, actually. Even if you prod and pluck and question, he never really says anything. He stays looking forward, and every once in a while, he'll look over his shoulder past you and to the alley. Probably, paranoia is not something that is unusual among kindred. About 20 to 30 minutes later, you find yourselves in the first floor of kind of this condemned building. Completely abandoned, and looks like it would fall in on itself given the rough push, especially coming from a gangrel, would be relatively easy. He eventually turns to you and just looks directly at you, and kind of opens the floor. He makes a gesture like, now you can start asking questions.
Oh, I'm glad I have your permission.
He simply says, it's not permission, it's just precaution.
I see. And do you usually bring ladies to abandoned houses?
Only if they're willing. And he kind of gives a weird, you might interpret it as a smirk. If his face wasn't so disfigured and destroyed, that'd be too hard to tell.
It seems like an obvious question, but I was a bit busy. What is it that you want, Rudy?
He takes a moment before he opens up his coat and reaches into his pocket and pulls out a box. It's a very small box, very plain looking. It is metallic in color, and it has a very simple small padlock on the front. There's no identifying features, no scratches, no marks, no symbols, no signs. He holds it out before you in one hand and looks to you.
For me?
For Princess Bella.
I see.
I would not expect you to take this and bring it to her without clarification or knowledge. So let me explain. I made a promise to the prince of this city. This is my offering to the prince. my offering for the clan that I represent.
Dare I ask what clan that is?
There's a moment of silence, a few beats, before simply he says, La Sombra.
Not, oh, my, okay. Go on.
Keeping the box in his hand kind of outstretched, it is tradition. A new tradition. An offering to the Ivory Tower for acceptance into the city and the Camarilla itself. The prince. And I speak this freely to you because you are loyal to her. Let graciously my clan into the Camarilla of Chicago. In return, I promised her an offering. This is that offering. And you are the only one I know that I could trust to bring it to her.
Wow, trust. Doesn't seem like a lot of people trust Dakota anymore. It's humbling.
Those people are foolish then.
You know, Rudy, I have to say, I feel like other people have done you a disservice. You're not exactly what I expected.
No, I am not. But a disservice, I guess that's in the eye of the beholder.
Yes, but it comes from the eye of somebody I care about, so...
Ah. Ollie.
Such a stain.
He doesn't... No longer, anyway. He no longer trusts me.
For rightful reason. Oh.
Perhaps. On the other hand, he wouldn't have the life he has if it was not for me.
Life he has.
He sees the night. He was able to rescue his boy. Would that be possible if he was dead?
If you had not brought him into this life at all, he would have been able to protect his boy.
His father made that decision before he ever had a chance to.
I don't believe that our lives are defined by others. He should have had a choice, but we can agree to disagree.
He simply nods to that.
So, do I get to ask what's in the box?
You may ask. The answer will be, I will not tell you. It is knowledge between myself and the prince alone. He's expecting it. That I can tell you.
Okay.
But it would be a mistake for me to deliver it personally, with my standing within the city.
I see. So just deliver this box.
Bring it to the prince. Once she sees it, she'll know. Can I trust you to do that, Miss Dakota?
I am capable of delivering a box.
I believe
And if
that.
it means getting to see the prince again, I will gladly do so. But I do want to be real with you. Stay away from Ollie.
Why?
Because you are poison to him.
Is it I that's poison to him? Or is it his undying need to not let go of the past that poisons him?
Past binds us. Can't let go of everything, but then we are nothing.
You are what you make of yourself.
And I agree, but when you are made without choice, you are lost.
Only if you let yourself. Too many excuses. You all have too many excuses to not embrace the life you were gifted.
We are all trying desperately to.
You are not.
This life. We are not.
He laughs when you say that. Tell me, perhaps you may be an exception, and Ava certainly. But tell me, what has Ollie done to embrace this new life in any way?
I don't know. Handing his child over to Amarillo.
Again,
Giving his arm to the Inquisition.
I wouldn't call that embracing. I'd call those foolish mistakes on his behalf. The child wouldn't have been kidnapped if he hadn't kept visiting. His arm wouldn't have been lost if he stuck to the sewers.
How long have you been a kindred?
Longer than you have been alive.
I understand this. But at some point, when you were first sired, you had ties to your mortal life. It could not have been as easy as ripping off a Band-Aid.
He looks down to himself, extends his hands in his clearly deformed figure. I paid for my mistakes ages ago. I learned. If this, and he kind of pulls back his sleeve and shows exposed muscle and bone, is the lesson the four of you need to learn to survive nights as what you are, then I wish you all the very best. But we all make mistakes, and the sooner you learn from them, the longer you'll live.
Trust me, I am living my mistakes.
And as I said, Miss Dakota, you and Ava have adapted rather well.
I believe that Ollie is different. He is an opportunity for kindred to see that you don't have to be what you say. What does embracing the lifestyle mean? Hiding in the shadows, giving up everything you know.
He takes a moment. No, go ahead.
Oh no, if Ollie were to embrace it, what does that look like to you, Rudy?
He takes a moment. It would look like leaving behind everything that drags you down and threatens your life. It sounds simple. And if you wish it to be, it is. But the longer you cling on to what you were, the more of a chance you give those who hate you to discover your weakness and exploit it. Do you truly think if Ollie had ignored his son, never brought him up, never visited, kept it to himself, that Rowan would be in the position he is now? Do you not see a direct correlation between Ollie's actions and his son's fate? That's what embracing this life is.
Yes, but we all make choices for what we care about. See, I came to this life with nothing to hang on to. Ollie, on the other hand, had everything.
And that's what makes Ollie so interesting. Holds such promise. If someone like Ollie could cut the ties to his past, imagine the drive and strength he could have.
If Ollie could do that and maintain a piece of what makes him Ollie, isn't he all the better?
Ollie is no longer human, and he'd do best to keep that in mind.
Maybe another point we should agree to disagree on. I will deliver your box, but not before you tell me what is inside it.
That is not knowledge I am privy to share. I warn you, Dakota. That box belongs to the prince, and opening it could bring your death.
I understand. I I can't trust you. And not, there could be anything in there. A bomb, God, Zach has embedded such a high level of fucking paranoia in me. I can't just deliver an unopened box to the prince.
Then ask her if she's expecting something from me before you present it, if you must. Clarify all you need, however you must. But I am entrusting this with you, Dakota. Your coterie, as messy and dangerous to yourselves as you are, still have value and promise. If you didn't, do you think the prince would have gifted you her own blood?
My Rudy, we do view the world differently.
As the decades pass, should you see them, so will yours.
We'll deliver your box, gift, whatever.
And for what it's worth, Dakota, you are right. My words have poisoned Ollie's perception for too long. I will make an effort to come forward and give Ollie the truth of the matter.
You should be wary.
I am aware of Butcher's capabilities.
No, capabilities mean nothing when you're driven by the sheer want to kill you.
If that is his choice, then I will be ready for it. But he does deserve to know the truth of my nature at the very least.
Don't say that I did not warn you.
I thank you for your service.
I'd like to say you're welcome, but I'll hang on to it. Hopes that you survive your meeting with Ollie. A bit of hope for a hopeless kindred.
Ollie has given himself hope. But this is where we part ways. I wish you luck.
Oh, if you fuck me over, Rudy, or Ollie, or my coterie, I will find you.
He simply nods, but does not vocally respond.
Till next time, Rudy.
And Dakota walks off. Does Dakota go right to the ivory tower as she was planning to do it anyway?
I don't know. I want to go to a back alleyway and sit with this box for a second. Can I shake it?
Sure. Yeah, you absolutely can. So, as you hold this box, it is exceptionally light. Incredibly so. It feels as though there is nothing inside. As you shake it, nothing rattles. There is nothing that moves. There is no feeling of an object within. Except for the little padlock that dangles and rattles as you shake the box around.
Does smell anything?
You take a deep whiff of such. Your gangrel-like perception and ability to pick up anything different. Feel free to make me. Let's go with. Sorry, I'm cracking open the character sheet real quick.
That's cool.
Yeah, just go ahead and give me a wits and awareness. Wits awareness.
It's a 1.
It smells of metal. Nothing more. It does not impose any uneasy feeling on you as you hold it, at least not at the moment. It simply exists in your hands.
This makes me nervous. Okay. Well, if it's light and I can't figure out what's in it by smell or shaking it like every other child at Christmas, then I guess I'm gonna go deliver it.
Okay.
And it's like the little padlock on it is totally locked.
Yep, it's locked. I mean, you are a gangrel. You could, in a swift motion, if you so chose, to rip that lock off.
I could.
I'm just saying, like, it's just a simple padlock as a point. Also, Dot, your mic seems to be peaking and clipping often.
Ooh, strange. Hang on a second, gang. Let me figure out
it's just
why
hard
that...
for me to understand some of the words that are
Oh, it's peaking. Interesting. Okay, thank you. Let me see if I can't change my audio settings and move it down a little. Does that seem better?
Go ahead, speak.
Check 1 2, checking.
Yeah,
my mic.
I think it's better. Yeah.
I can keep taking the volume down.
Yeah, take it down a little bit more.
Yeah, you're definitely higher than Methuselah, though you're not peaking when you're normal speaking.
Yeah.
It's strange. Is that better?
Yeah, a little bit lower?
I'm almost at bottom volume here with my mic.
Okay, that's fine then.
Okay.
I wonder if it's just a Zoom thing.
Probably Zoom will be like, you need to adjust in Zoom because otherwise Zoom will be like auto.
I was about to say, well, that's what I adjusted it in.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. Okay. No worries. Sorry, just wanted to.
No, I know. I'm glad you're telling me that. I didn't realize it was peaking. Okay.
So you're gonna go to the Ivory Tower. Is the plan?
Correct.
You have two things you want to do there. You want to request a meeting with Bella for yourself, and you also want to. You wanted to inform the Tremere, right? That Zach would like to meet with her, basically.
Yes,
that was the other part, right?
Yes, correct. I can't remember if I already did that or not, but yes, I do.
That's fine. Well, you make your way over to the Ivory Tower. For the rest of the evening, I assume, for the most part, Dakota walks. She doesn't really grab an Uber, typically. Unless, like, Zach or Ava forces her in.
I was about to say, I don't even have a cell phone, so...
The streets tonight are as busy as they always are. As you make your way through the worse off part of town, there are those who stumble around drunk, shouting at one another, people shouting at you as they typically do, and panhandlers all across. As you make your way past that into the better part of the city, those dissipate with people who are spending the night drinking and having a good time. And the further into the city you get, the more uppity and obnoxious the people become. But strangely, and I think this is what Dakota appreciates, from the poorest part of town to the richest part of town, everybody's doing the same thing. They're drinking and getting dumb. Some just people have money to stay safe while they do it. Others, not so much. But eventually you make your way into the Ivory Tower, and at the front desk is a familiar face, the same receptionist as or desk handler, what have you, as you've always seen there. And as she sees you, she smiles widely and says, Miss Dakota, how are you this evening?
I'm still a kindred.
So everything's great.
Sure. I have a delivery for the prince.
I see.
One that might be best delivered in person.
I see. Let me take a look real quick. And she kind of opens the computer and opens up a book, and she seems to be cross-referencing a few things. She can meet with you. Well, for you specifically, anyway. Let's see. Tomorrow evening, as the sun sets and the moon rises.
Tomorrow.
Would you like to leave the delivery here for safekeeping?
I would not. I will hang on to it.
Absolutely.
It is of extreme importance.
As always, the prince has a room for you. Should you wish to spend the rest of the night here, it is late. We could always bring a limousine around to bring you back to your haven if you'd like. But there's a place here you can spend the night, and you'd be kept safe. Prince's word, and she smiled.
Oh, the prince's word. Yes, I'll. You know what? I will take you up on that.
Excellent. She seems to be doing something very quickly, and she opens a drawer and pulls out just a key, a simple metallic key, and she places it on the table. And she looks to you, 10th floor, 13th room, room 13, or apartment 13 rather. Easy enough, and she'll be expecting you tomorrow. Anything else I can help you tonight with, Dakota?
Nope. Just nope. No, there's nothing I'm gonna say that's gonna end well here. So I'll take my leap to my room.
Sure. As you make your way up to the apartment, obviously your cat is with you the whole time.
Yep.
Well, actually, due to what I did last.
I was about to say, yeah.
Rudy wrote a note for you.
This is the perfect time for me to. Oh, I thought that was interesting too. So Dakota can technically write at like a kindergarten level, but it'll look like a kindergartner's handwriting. So she
if you want to do that, you're fine.
To get some help, and she sends Princess Bella off to let them know that what she's up to.
Perfect. That's great. Okay. When you head into this apartment, Dakota, maybe for the first time, is given a place of her own that is not a room, is not the prince's specific suite, is actually given a place to her own that is large, empty, save obviously for furniture and a bed and all this other stuff, but well furnished and well stocked. It has a huge kitchen, a separate dining room that you can actually go and eat in, a bedroom and a bathroom and a living room. In fact, it sort of reminds you of Ava's penthouse, so differently laid out and differently, not nearly as well furnished because Ava isn't living here, obviously, but it's still well kept. And you might even think that, well, if Dakota knew, it might even be considered kind of like a showroom for those who are looking to rent property here. It's gorgeous, it's comfortable, and maybe that makes Dakota feel uncomfortable, or maybe that makes it feel relaxed, but it's obvious that this is, you are, if there was to be a fly on the wall, Dakota sticks out like a sore thumb in this place, just because of the way she dresses and how she looks compared to the cleanliness of this apartment.
Right. I try not to touch anything for fear of getting it dirty. And I'm going to set this box on the table.
Sure, you do so.
In front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Wish there was something I could do. I know nothing of closed boxes.
Yep.
And I'm going to contemplate on it for most of the night, I guess, until morning.
Okay.
I do, because get bored easily. Take off my gloves and a fingernail, and under one of the pieces of furniture, I carved Dakota was here. Just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, that's funny. Let me write that down just so I don't forget. Just because that's hilarious.
Just because somebody's going to end up with that piece of furniture eventually.
Yep, you never know when that'll ever come back.
Mark.
Scrapes her name.
Dakota was here.
Into furniture.
It's like, peeing on the furniture without peeing on it.
Yeah, of course. Cool. Easy enough.
That might be easier to get out.
True also. Okay. Now what? Do you just spend the night thinking about it, but you don't do anything?
Yeah, I don't know. I want to pop that box open so bad.
Do you?
If I could do... If I thought I could do it without breaking the lock.
I mean... It's not this. There's no real way to crack this thing on its hinges without having the lock removed.
Right. I'd have to pick the lock.
Yeah, you could try and pick it. That's dexterity larceny check if you're interested.
I don't think I could do it. I don't even think I have anything in larceny. I don't. I do have a lot in dexterity though. Okay, you know what?
Just fuck it.
Roll a 2.
You did roll a 2. Did you want a blood surge? Was actually a question that I was going to ask.
Oh,
you have to roll for hunger.
I'm just going to take. Dakota's just like, you know what? If the universe wants me to pop this box open, I will. So at you.
And then nothing happens.
Yeah.
Two was not enough.
Okay.
You mess with it a little bit. You try and grab like a bobby pin or something, and you see it on TV and comic books all the time. You might as well give it a try, but no such luck.
Box. I probably sit all night staring at it.
Okay, until the sun clearly is about to rise, and you must turn in for the night.
And then I probably sleep with it tucked in my arms.
Yeah, that's fair. There is a bedroom that has no windows. The door collides with the ground, so no sun can get in. And obviously, the entire apartment is layered with blackout curtains.
Yeah.
The best they can do, of course. And you spend the night, or the day rather. Next morning, go ahead and rouse check me, just to wake up.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Okay, your hunger goes up for the day.
Oh yep. Okay. What's that? Did it roll 0 dice?
I don't.
Did you have simple roll rouse selected?
Yeah. Okay. Hunger goes up.
Okay. And so, very shortly after you wake from your slumber, there is a gentle knocking on your door.
Who is it?
You have an appointment. A voice you don't recognize speaks through.
Yes, I do. I open the. I'm guessing there's like a peephole.
Yep. You look out, and there is just a gentleman in a suit standing out there, nondescript looking guy you've never seen.
I pop the door open and like leaning in the doorway as if I own this place. So
he's like, "Are you ready, Miss Dakota Rain?"
Please just call me Dakota. And yes, I am ready. And I tuck the box under my jacket so
Sure.
he cannot see it.
Absolutely.
And walk with him.
He walks you to the elevator, ushers you inside, and presses the button that leads to the top floor. And the elevator goes up, awkwardly quiet. You can hear the gears turning. There's no elevator music or any of that. And he never makes eye contact with you. He just stares straight ahead at the door and keeps his arms kind of clasped behind his back.
You got a name?
He simply says, "I do."
Well,
You are above my station.
oh. Well, cool.
Eventually, the elevator dings before you can complete the thought in the sentence, and the doors roll open. And before you is the double doors leading into a suite you haven't actually been in a couple of months. He stands in the elevator, and he just turns to you. "Miss Dakota, we are here."
Yes, thank you.
He looks to you, and he just says, "You may head right inside. She's expecting you."
Great. Boop.
You boop him, and he does not flinch, does not move, and simply lets you, more or less.
Well, okay, bye.
You can walk out. And do you just open the doors?
Yeah, I'll knock.
Okay. A familiar voice, very pleasant sounding on the other side, says, "If that's my Dakota, please come in."
I come in and take a knee. My prince.
You open the door and you step into the lavishly decorated room, and you immediately take a knee. She kind of waves at you. She's like, "Stand, Dakota, stand, and please shut the door."
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I awkwardly
As you shut the door, she's in her typical attire, a gorgeous red dress. It's her favorite color. Wears it any opportunity she can. Lucky for her, that's literally every single night if she has a choice. And no glass of wine in her hand at this particular point, but there are 2 glasses set out at a table between 2 chairs that the 2 of you spent plenty of time sitting and speaking to one another. A bottle of wine that has already been opened sits between the 2 glasses in a language that you could not comprehend if you even wanted to. So Dakota probably thinks it's French. Who knows? Yeah. She smiles. she flashes you a beautiful smile, her pearly white teeth gleaming, and she says, "Dakota, it is so very good to see you."
Oh, you too, my prince. I have a gift for you, though I am...
A gift? And she gets very curious at that.
I regret it is not from me, though. I am simply the delivery boy.
I see. Then please, who gave you this gift before you hand it to me?
Rudy.
I see. And is this gift in question? And she takes a minute. An offering. Did he word it as such?
Yes.
May I see this gift?
Of course. And I pull the box out and set it on the table.
As you place the box on the table, her gaze goes right from you to the box. She watches as the box trails across as you place it down, and she locks eyes. She takes a few moments and just takes it in, and then takes a few steps over to the table as her high heels click across the marbled floor. She lifts the box off the hand with her hand, with both her hands very gently, kind of turns it and examines it from all sides, and just lets it rest. And can I get a wits plus insight check from you?
Yes, very much. What's happening here? Roll20 just booted me. Give me a second.
Goodbye, Roll20.
You said wits plus awareness?
Yes.
Wits insight, he said, I think.
I'm sorry, wits insight.
Wits insight. Okay. Well, not as good, but that's okay. Sheet. Normal. There we go.
She just looks at it interestingly for a little while before she walks to another room and comes back empty-handed afterward. And she looks to you and says, "Thank you, Miss Dakota."
Yeah.
Or no, thank you, my Dakota.
You are very welcome, though I may overstep bounds here. I am concerned.
About?
I don't know. An odd box with a lock. I worry for your protection.
She gestures to one of the two chairs, the one that you typically sit in, as she strolls and strides over to hers and sits down and crosses her legs before she begins to pour 2 glasses of wine. Have you had wine with me? I can't remember, and I apologize.
Wine was never my choice of drink, both in the past life and this one.
Is it a flavor thing, or?
I don't know. It's just
wine
not as...
is as varied as we are, as kindred. There's a flavor for everybody. We just have to find yours. And she hands you a glass.
I take it awkwardly because I can't hold it like a PBR.
That is very true. No, you cannot. And she reaches forward to clean glasses and cheers with you.
I meet hers.
To the future of the city, as always. And she smiles.
Of course.
Would you like to blush of life, by the way?
Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to.
You don't have to. You'll just retch it pretty quickly.
I'd probably not want to retch up on her.
So it's just a rouse check.
No, just a regular old rouse check.
Mm-hmm.
Better this time.
Okay.
Oh!
Your hunger does not go up. Perfect. And your body can now, and you can feel, and I don't know how often Dakota has actually blush of life in much, if at all.
Except for the beer offered to me by the gangrel.
Yeah. But that unfamiliar yet still familiar feeling of blood beginning to pump. You can feel your organs begin to operate again. And as you drink this liquid that is not blood, not only can you taste it more intimately than you normally would, you can truly feel the flavors rolling across your tongue before it gets down in the back of your throat. And I imagine Dakota's not one to purposely roll wine across her entire palate before she swallows it.
No, she probably like
this shit. And it just sits into her stomach. I had a buddy that we had some really fancy wine. He just chugged. And I was like, no.
That's
what I imagine. But you can feel it hitting your stomach, and it just, it's not quite the same as being alive. There's as much like when you feel emotions, it's almost like the echo of being alive, but it's still much, much closer than you've felt in a long time. And she takes a sip, and this wine is a rich, dry, earthy type of wine. I'm not sure if you've ever thought about what kind of wine person Dakota is, but this is a very rich, earthy toned, dry wine. So, red wine, of course.
Yum, I say.
And she looks to you as she places her glass down after a couple of sips, and she goes, "We'll find you yours yet."
Great.
Now, you were concerned about me, my dear. Concerned that the box is a weapon or something that might blow up or hurt me.
All of the above. I mean, Rudy did tell me if I opened it, it would be my death, so I just assumed anybody that opens it might actually be their death.
Rudy, interesting. He's not wrong in that if you had opened it, it'd be a violation of trust, and I may have had to kill you for it. But it's always good to assume that something that is not meant for you, should you decide to take it for yourself, in this society, is as good as a death sentence, depending, of course, on who you're taking it from. And she giggles. Literal giggles.
Oh. I laugh with her awkwardly, trying to understand what's humorous about it.
Wits plus insight when she says that.
Okay.
Again, I know it's not your strong suit.
It is not, but we will make it work.
Okay. You don't. She just seems to be giggling.
There are a lot of things that made me wonder if this is a safe thing to deliver. Just stuff on my mind.
Then speak it, my dear. Please.
There's been a lot of talk of what sleeps beneath your tower.
It has certainly been something of a topic of conversation among those who know. And you are worried then?
I am. For you and for all kindred. It seems a major threat.
And it very well could be. Very well could be. It's hard to know, genuinely, what one of such age would desire should they awaken. As alien as perhaps someone of our age, our motivations are to someone as young as yourself or those within your coterie, the same could be said of us and those above and older than we are.
So you do not fear it?
I fear it, Dakota. Anyone who is intelligent should fear it. It could very well be the end of Kindred in Chicago if that's what it chooses. If it were to awaken.
The first night I drank from you, you told me that Chicago and Kindred were, and their safety were your main concern.
They are. And they remain as such.
So, please do not take offense when I ask. What is it that you are doing about it?
Speaking with the council, the Primogen. I am not one to rule like a queen, though I understand that I have the power to do as such. I think hearing out those who also hold power in the city is what is worthy of doing. I've been taking opinions from the Primogen. But when we decide to take action, it is going to be swift and immediate. But it cannot be decided quickly or lightly. All options have to be on the table. I must know as much as I can about the ramifications of each decision before I make mine. Do you have concerns, Dakota?
My concerns simply come from a place of general safety, though I do believe there are other kindred who are concerned you are working with the ancient and are being controlled by it.
How? No. But of course I would say no, right? If I was. So my word cannot be taken at its surface value. And I cannot blame anyone for worrying about that. It's something I keep in my mind as well. Something as powerful as what sleeps beneath could do an untold number of things.
So, what can I do?
To what?
Help. I feel useless, Prince.
Why? You've done such great things. Your work at Madison is exemplary, minus the murder
Yes, of course. I'm just... It seems that things are barreling forward. Signs of Inquisition in the city, then mages showing up in Madison at the same time we were there. It all seems very bad.
Well, you're not wrong. Things have been put on an accelerated timetable recently, and due to the knowledge of what sleeps beneath, people are, or rather kindred are, concerned. But the thing that'll end up getting us killed is acting without full knowledge before making a decision. It's a tightrope that is difficult to balance. One misstep could be the fall of everything and everyone.
Will what's in the box help us?
I believe so. I truly do.
Am I overstepping to ask what it is?
Yes, but I look fondly on you, Miss Dakota. You are not what I expected when we first conversed here in this very place.
I told you that everybody underestimates Dakota.
And I see that.
Thank you.
My primary concern is the Camarilla and the safety of those here in my domain in Chicago. That'll never change. I promise. You've done well for me, my dear. Incredibly well. You've made mistakes, but you're young and it comes with the territory of your clan sometimes. It's part of you. I am going to skip the next feeding.
Really?
I am. I do not think it is necessary any longer.
I am humbled, Prince.
Do not make me regret my decision.
Of course not.
Now, beyond what sleeps below and this box nonsense, was there anything else you wanted to discuss with me before we move on to other matters?
I guess not.
On that then, she actually does sit in silence for a while. She doesn't look like she has concern on her face, though she does seem lost in thought.
I don't say anything.
Of course. Oh yeah, did you want to bring up Zach in the Tremere meeting?
Oh yes, I do. There has been a... Before I say there's nothing, my coterie...
Troubled as they are, she giggles.
We are a band of misfits, that is for sure.
Yes, you certainly are.
But I believe with right intention, my prince. My concern for what sleeps beneath us was arisen more recently by one of my coterie members who would like to speak with the council, or you, or anyone that can put our minds at rest. They fear that you are being controlled, and I don't know what to tell them.
That she takes she her face goes from that of a stoic thought to that of genuine disappointment. Disappointment is the only word that really fits. Her bottom lip juts out just enough to give a pouty face.
Your sadness consumes me, Prince. I did not mean to upset you. But they don't know you like I do.
No, they do not.
I feel that if you were to help them understand, to address them directly, that their concerns may be put to rest. I told them that I would ask you to meet with them. Specifically, Zach.
Do you believe, whether they are well-intentioned or not, that they could be a problem for me?
I think that they are concerned like every kindred is concerned.
That is not my question.
I am aware, my prince.
So answer it.
So I do not believe that they are a problem for you directly. I believe that they will take whatever action necessary to ensure their own safety. So if I think they are malicious towards you, no. But times are dangerous with such a thing. They need reassurance just as I do.
Reassurance of what? That they will be safe in Chicago?
That a Methuselah will not wake and drain this city.
A Methuselah will not wake unless it is fed. And so long as it does not feed, it will stay as it is. It cannot rouse on its own due to just too much sleep. She laughs.
I'm afraid I have said all the wrong things as usual. I'm good at delivering boxes, not messages.
You are much better than you think you are, Dakota. You are young. It's okay. Please, if you need to try and put it in other words, you're welcome to. You are safe in my penthouse.
I am bad with words. I know little of them. They aroused something in me, anger. Their possibility of you being in any kind of trouble makes me
Being
rage.
the prince directs all manner of trouble your way. I've been a target for a long while. That's part of it. So do not worry about that. Let's do an exercise, Dakota, together. A basic one, but one that helps you understand how I make decisions, perhaps.
Okay.
I'd like to go through some possibilities with this, the one that sleeps beneath the ivory tower. And I want your genuine opinion, as though, consider yourself, in the moment, a temporary member of the Primogen Council. You are a representative of the clan Gangrel, and you are in my audience. We just had a meeting. We just discussed the going-ons of the city. And now at the end, I always ask the Primogen members what their opinions are of the Methuselah. Before we just talk about general opinions, let's just go through the possibilities.
Okay.
If we discover that the Methuselah would wake and destroy the city, easy first question, what would you do?
If she were, or they were to wake and...
If we had discovered that waking this Methuselah would ruin the kindred of Chicago, what would your action with the Methuselah be?
If they do not seem open to any kind of negotiation, well then, it seems only right that we put an end to the problem.
And there are two ways to go about that. We could bring it final death, or we could send it elsewhere. What would you do?
Send it.
Send it. Transport it. I hear LA has fallen to the Anarchs. Perhaps sending it out that way.
To rid LA of Anarchs.
Cause them some problems.
That seems unlike you.
The Anarchs brought down the Camarilla in LA. They are the reason they fell. Things are different here in Chicago between us and the Anarchs. You can't think of the Anarchs from city to city to be the same group. They are truly varied, no matter where you go. The Anarchs of LA are not the same as the Anarchs of Chicago.
Okay, so
your options would be to ship it elsewhere or to bring it final death. What would you, Dakota, member of the Primogen Council, representative Clan Gangrel, do if it was your choice?
in honesty, my prince, I would give it final death.
Noted.
I do not believe that the slaughtering of more kindred answers any of our problems. And sending a Methuselah into an area overpopulated with Anarchs could arise other problems. What if they were to drain this Methuselah or overpower it?
Then I would be rather impressed. But that is, of course, a risk. A small risk, but it is a risk in making that decision. You choose the one that brings the least risk. I appreciate that. Now, imagine we wake the Methuselah, and we find out that if we awaken the Methuselah, it has no interest in being here in Chicago or being a part of the Camarilla or being a part of kindred society as we believe it to be, and leaves. And leaves. Without a word or without communication. Would you wake it then?
If it meant us no harm.
Yes, it meant us no immediate harm. The machinations of someone so old is impossible to know.
Well, I see this as an opportunity for an asset.
Potentially.
And making sure it was Team Camarilla would assure that the Anarchs here in the city and the potential Sabbat rising was potentially ended. It would be a great weapon.
It would. Which brings me to my final question, actually. You bring it up yourself. What if we discover that the Methuselah, while its perception of what the Camarilla is may be different due to its lineage and its age, wishes to help the Camarilla? What if we wake the Methuselah and it has the Camarilla's best interests at its core? Would you wake it then, or would you still bring it final death or be rid of it?
Seems so silly to be asking me these questions. I know nothing of running the Camarilla. I can barely uphold Camarilla law.
She laughs.
But if a Methuselah were to rise and to work with the Camarilla, then it seems odd that we would not accept such a gracious gift.
You and I agree on almost all decisions. I personally, should I be the only one to make the decision, might send it off as an act of comeuppance for those who have brought down our government across the country. But
I understand, but if there is one thing I have learned in my short kindred life, all actions have consequences, my prince. And such a bold act could have heavy repercussions.
No matter the actions taken with something as old and powerful as this, there will be repercussions felt by all. Even if we let it sleep beneath the city for another 100 years, the knowledge that it is there, the inaction, has repercussions.
May I ask a question?
You may.
Let us say the Methuselah is interested in being Camarilla and helping us. The Methuselah is very powerful. Yes?
Yes.
What is to say that when we least expect it, the Methuselah could not turn on you, myself, the Primogen Council.
It would need a reason to do so, would it not? They aren't
Does a kindred
animals.
need a reason to kill?
No. No, I guess they do not. But we try to keep reasons and try to keep, well, there is a reason not to kill Dakota. One that I feel you would understand better than those in your coterie. The beast thrives on such things. The beast thrives on impulse decisions and actions. And the more of those you make, the closer to the beast you become, and the closer to losing yourself entirely you are. The beast is seen, even by me, as a nuisance, a problem, something that we were cursed with for decisions that were made thousands and thousands of years ago, if you're to believe the rumors, of course.
I am sure, my prince.
But on the other side of things, the beast is also a regulatory tool, if you look at it as such. It reminds us the monster that we could become if we don't balance our life. It brings us power. It brings us the ability to rule over those lesser than us. But it also desires our very being. Not feeding the beast is the reason not to act so animalistic.
I feel I've asked you this before, but I ask again because I am constantly troubled by the way that kindred revere their beast. Is it a bad thing? Can we not live in balance with it?
There are those who've tried. And there are those that still try. But I've never met one very successful. Your clan has an innate ability to live in a weird harmony with your beast. But
It's funny what you call weird. I think it's pretty beautiful.
don't let it seduce you.
It's an acceptance. I am very new to all of this, and obviously my beast has gotten me in a fair share of trouble. Says the brain matter is still embedded in the boards on that table in your very own club. But I do not see my beast as a bad thing. It is what differentiates us. Can we not view it as something more than a curse?
I feel viewing it as anything more is a dangerous line of thought. But Dakota, there are those who seek out such things. I am not one to dictate how you live your own life. Your unlife is yours. If it's something you wish to know more about, there are those out there who have spent their entire lifetimes seeking out such things. I don't know if anybody here in Chicago is currently pursuing such, but the word Golconda, that is what that is the word you will need to research if you wish to know more about this balance you seek. But understand, Dakota, and I mean this gravely, sincerely. If you travel this path and look to make peace with your beast, and you fail, you will be put down like an animal.
I see. Thank you for your honesty.
The beast has a way of luring those closer to it with whispers of power.
It is not power I seek. Never has been.
But it's power the beast seeks.
I have enjoyed my time with you. It has been a long time. I do not deserve to ask for another request. But I see you have dodged my question regarding what is in the box. So instead of pushing that button again, I will simply say or ask. It may be helpful to give Ollie visitation rights to his boy, if possible.
I will keep it in consideration.
Thank you.
But understand, I do not see what benefit would come of that.
I understand.
Keeping Ollie tethered to something that has caused him so much trouble. Beyond that, I'll grant your request. Your coterie may meet with me.
Really?
This time next week.
Wonderful.
They may bring their concerns directly to me, and I will be expecting them. All of them.
Thank you very much.
Dakota, as always, it's a pleasure. I'll have a limo waiting outside to bring you back home.
Oh, I appreciate that, but I'll walk.
I'd rather you take the limousine. It's just
Okay.
safer.
Sure. Whatever you want.
You are dismissed, Dakota.
Thank you.
She stays sitting as you stand up, and she continues to drink her wine as you walk out and away from her. She seems to stare off, kind of at the fireplace that has obviously no fire. She drinks her wine and keeps to herself. You make your way out, and inside the elevator, that gentleman that brought you here is waiting. He smiles when you walk in, and he just simply hits bottom floor, and you begin your way down. He says no words. If you say anything to him, he usually doesn't reply or gives you a short answer before you're led outside where a short little limo is waiting in the door. He opens the door for you and ushers you in, and you are all brought off.
Great.
This is all happening the night everything else went down. As you're being driven back, Ollie is currently sitting in the sewers, face to face with Rudy. The others have spread from their haven to lie low and take care of things. Some words were exchanged between the butcher and Rudy. Conversation, though brief. We were left at a moment where the butcher was to make a decision. Bub, if you want to unmute yourself for a moment.
Yep.
Have we made a decision?
Man. So just as a refresher course,
Mm-hmm.
acting inside of character,
Mm-hmm.
Rudy wants me to torch an orphanage.
Correct. If we want to have parts of that conversation again, maybe you have other questions you forgot to ask. You know, we
Kill
did that,
all of them like veal.
we had that conversation at the very end. We were already running over, so if you want to rehash some of that, you're welcome to.
I'm just trying to get all of the points.
Yeah. So for a refresher for those who may not have who may have forgotten, there was a bunch of things that led you. You were told or led to believe that at the basement of the orphanage there is Tom, Norris's old ghoul, a kindred who may or may not be chained in the basement, depending on if Ava's premonition was correct. And at the top, outside of the orphanage, laid brand new crosses that have elaborate Celtic designs and metal inlaid to them. And after Ollie got a look and Zach got a look, Ollie recognized it as Second Inquisition. as he ran into one of them recently. You had a conversation with Rudy about it. He basically said that he was the one trying to lead you there, wanted you to at least, maybe take care of it. You kind of brought up your concerns, and his response was then torch the place, kill everybody inside. He told you he believes, or at least he just told you that the kids on the inside are being basically trained from the minute they're in to believe and go through training of the Second Inquisition St. Leopold sect. And he said the best way to deal with it is just root it out. Just kill everything inside that's been touched by them and get them out of the city. There was a little fighting because, kids for Ollie mean something. And then, of course, Ollie being a 6 humanity still sees people as valuable. And you were going to maybe punch him for such.
I did activate Fist of Cain.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like there are 2 other points to note. He did suggest that people were merely veal,
mm-hmm.
and Aikido is believed to be alive and inside.
Correct.
Aikido, while a ghoul, is still a human.
Correct. And it seemed like Cammy was willing to just let him. She was like, okay, he made his mistake. If this is his fate, this is his fate.
Yeah, based on the actions of the night, knowing that I feel like Rudy's orchestrated this, so I'm gonna follow through. I've got to stay true to the character. I'm gonna attack.
So, as a rules clarification, something that we've kind of messed up a little bit. Every round during combat, when you are only able to activate a single power per round. So you will only be able to activate Fist of Cain or this, that, the other. You just have to make a choice as to what you want to activate.
Okay. All right.
Fist of Cain just makes all your damage aggravated.
I'll instead turn that success into potence. Going to go with potence on this one.
Okay. Just looking at something. So you're just adding damage to whatever your roll is, right?
Essentially, unless I'm misinterpreting it, potence can overcome any bits of armor additionally based on my potence level. And I don't really know what kind of tricks Rudy has, plus what Lasombra are even capable of.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that if he has armor, that I can go over it.
All right. You are welcome to make your roll, sir.
Okay, here we go.
Clench his fist as the conversation plays out, and he gets ready to level. Hopefully, Rudy in a punch. That's it.
I'm gonna willpower.
Okay, you get 3.
Mm-hmm. One more success. 5.
5 successes. Explain to me what this looks like. What is happening?
I'm assuming that we're pretty close.
No, yeah. You're speaking distance. You're not shouting against each other. He explains to you why he believes the orphanage is to be brought down, and your response, I'm assuming you give no time for reaction, you just punch him.
Oh yeah, probably just following through with, I even said earlier that kids are easy to manipulate. They can be trained differently, and I just go into like mindless brawl mode.
Okay. And you level into him. You feel his bones and his skin crack under the power of your punch. You actually send him reeling back against the closest brick wall that's not even just a few inches away. And you can actually see the brick behind him a part of it turn to dust and crumble beneath. It's nothing compared to the strength in which you threw into him. He actually lets out an audible groan as you knock what wind might be sitting in his lungs at the moment out, just from the level of the leveling yourself so heavily into him.
I can't believe you. I can't believe you. And I'm just going to keep going.
And it's at this point, leveling a punch. Now he's aware that combat is about to happen. He acts in turn, on his turn. Before anything, before you take a quick step forward to just throw fist, and you do throw fist, feel free to throw me a strength plus brawl. I'll look at that in a moment.
Sure. Remember, Potence is going to have those 5 successes or 5 hits.
I'm
5
aware.
damage after if you hit. It doesn't add successes.
Correct. I'm well aware. Okay. In a moment, as he's coughing and like clutching onto himself, and he looks up to you, and there's just a look of angered disappointment on his face, and beneath him, pitch black smoke pours like a thick liquid around the ground and underneath you. And before long, the entire hallway, this entire sewer hallway, is cast in utter darkness. You throw your fist and you can feel it careening through the air, but it doesn't collide with the body. It collides with a brick wall, and it crumbles beyond. You rip your fist out. You can hear more of the brick kind of in concrete falling. And within a few moments, the darkness dissipates, and not a body is there.
Okay. Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. You're not quite sure about La Sombra powers, though you could speak to Zach. You would have some knowledge of what La Sombra are capable of. Maybe Ava even. Was there a conversation about La Sombra between you, Coterie, at all when they were announced? Okay.
Very minimally,
really,
it was, they're thrown out because they're part of the Sabbat, or most of them were, blah, blah, blah. They don't like the Ventru.
Simple as that.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah. He's definitely not there. You do not see him. As the darkness dissipates completely. Oh, right. You can see that. I forgot. You can see that. And
Sorry.
well, that's a good thing because chat can see it then.
Also, feel free to use the macro I have, which will tell you successes.
Is there no feasible wits awareness on this to see if anything's happened?
You're welcome to roll a wits awareness. Absolutely.
I'm going to at least try. Ollie's going to be definitely confused, looking around like, what the hell just happened?
VTM 5e La Sombra powers, everybody. They're pretty fun. They're not great, but they're fun. Yeah, you look around, and other than the clearly collapsed wall where he hit it, and then you hit the wall and turn, beyond that, you see nothing.
Rudy, I know you're here. I know you're here. Don't be a coward now.
Stomping around, shouting, hearing the echo throughout the sewers of your own voice, you were only greeted by those echoes.
Then I'm going to run immediately to the Ivory Tower.
Sure. To the Ivory Tower you run.
Yeah.
Chat, so Obtenebration is kind of gone. It's replaced with Oblivion. They more or less merged...
Necromancy, Oblivion, and something else.
Basically Giovanni and La Sombra powers that kind of just let's just kind of put them together. That's what it is. You can actually look up some of their abilities straight up. So you immediately run to the Ivory Tower. It takes you a while. I mean, you're taking the sewer route to get there, and you're kind of far out, but there's plenty of time in the night left over. You at a breakneck speed, just as fast as you possibly can. You have no celerity, though, right?
None.
Okay. You're in the sewers. Dakota's up top, so the two of you won't run into each other. Eventually, you make your way to the inner city, and find yourself relatively, with the knowledge of the sewers and the maps that you can find, you believe you're at least at the block of the Ivory Tower, the same block.
Peek my head up, see how far I am away from it.
Yep, you're like a 5-minute walk. You can see it from here. You could pop out. Use go invisible if you so choose.
Yeah, I will.
Go ahead and hunger roll me.
Yep.
Okay, your hunger goes up.
Yep. And I'm going to make my way there once I'm invisible.
Okay. You run down the streets and such. In fact, you see a limousine pass by as you are running. People are drunkenly having a good time out this area and whatnot. And eventually you make your way to the Ivory Tower, this grand building. You want to just head inside?
Yeah, immediately.
You drop the invisibility once you go in? Or
yes, I will.
Okay. So the door swings open, and the woman at the desk looks up, notices there's nobody there, and then blinks for a minute, and all of a sudden there you are, and she looks taken aback briefly, and she looks to her phone contemplating whether she should do something, but you have a chance to speak before she can act.
I need to see anyone with power at all. Primogen, the prince, I don't fucking care. Anyone that's here right now. It's a matter of safety to the kindred in Chicago.
She thinks for a moment, looks up to you. Have we met before?
Have I met her before? Out of game?
No.
No.
She's like, then could you just stay there for a minute? And she kind of like, while watching you, just reaches over to the phone, kind of just picks it up and presses a couple of buttons. For a moment, if you just stand there, she's like, hi, yeah, can I get security, please? Thank you. And she kind of hangs up. I wouldn't go anywhere.
I don't exactly intend on it.
Some time passes, and eventually four large gentlemen start walking their way in who look like they're dressed in the nines, but visibly armed. They look like private security, very clearly private security. They have words with her. She kind of points at you, and they look to you, and they make their way over. All right, come with us.
I've been here before.
Yes.
Okay.
You've definitely been to the Ivory Tower before.
Okay, I'm pretty much on high alert at this point.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and wits insight me.
Yeah. Wits insight.
That is.
Oh, sorry. Normal sheet. Forgive me.
No, you're good. You're good. Well, you didn't go up in hunger at least.
2
successes. You don't need to be much. It's obvious they're not bringing you to anybody of quote unquote importance. The way she acted, the way the security showed up, wherever they're bringing you, it ain't where you want to go. Likely going to lock you down, put you away until they can verify. You don't know what it is they're trying to do, but you busted in. She looked panicked. You said it's a threat to kindred, and she called security. And here they are. Do you just go along with them? I'm just curious.
Sure, I'll play it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So they eventually they walk you to the basement. They don't walk you upstairs or anything. And there's a room devoid of any furniture and a steel door that holds it. They swing open the steel door and they kind of just nod for you to get inside.
I'll abide.
Okay. Before the door shuts, one of them looks in. Your name?
Ollie. They
Ollie.
call me the Butcher.
Ollie the Butcher. Got it. They slam the door shut. It is pitch black in here, and you are left in here for a few hours. Cut to Dakota, pulling up to the Haven. Zach, there's a limo pulling up. You can see it approaching the Haven from a decent distance away. You're kind of standing outside of the Haven itself.
I'll go round to the hidden entrance and I'll go into the Haven through the hidden entrance. Unless I can intercept the limo in somewhere not obviously visible from any vantage points that might be looking at the Haven.
You want to intercept it and make yourself known to the driver?
I'll intercept it and try and stop it in any way I can. If there's a junction nearby, I can try and run up and tap on the window.
Yeah, you're welcome to do that. There's definitely an opportunity where there's a four-way intersection. I mean, this area in the city where you guys have your domain is relatively unpopulated by anybody of importance, anyway.
Okay,
you can easily catch up to them and
Zach's
knock, but that you also know that could startle them if it's coming from somebody of import in the core city that's kindred. You could start a fight by surprising them. You don't know who's in this limo. Cammy's shown up in a limo. Sido's shown up in a limo. The Harpy has shown up in a limo. Dakota has shown up in a limo.
Okay, I guess the important part is, like, is this a road where someone might be just driving past our haven in a limo, or is it one of the many times that someone's driven with a limo right up to
It's one of the
haven?
many times. It's one of the many times you've seen a limo come this way.
Okay, in which case I will probably... I'm probably just going to go into the haven through the back route and wait for her to come in then.
And wait. Dakota, eventually you're let out of the limo and let into the haven. Make your way there. It's eerily quiet here, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. People are in and out of this place regularly. And as you open the door and make your way inside, Zach, you may speak.
You hear a voice from, like, down the far back. Dakota, things didn't go so well while you were away. We might need to leave here.
What do you mean it didn't go so well?
Can we have this talk not in the haven for now?
Where do you want to go?
Zach, like, walks out of the shadow and, like, gestures towards the hidden entrance we have.
Okay. Where's Ava? And Ollie?
When we're not in the haven.
Oh! She, like, slams the door. Fuck, go, I guess. I can't believe I left for, like, 2 days and you're already all in trouble.
Go out the hidden
And that's
entrance.
coming from me?
Yep.
Yeah, you got your hidden entrance that you have had in this haven, you know, since you fucking specced it out. And you eventually walk her to where are you staying?
I probably won't walk her to where we're staying immediately. I'll probably just walk her to the nearest place I can give her the 411, which is probably the Gangrel Park, because that's the nearest open space. It's got a lot of, like, not people in it at this time of night.
Yeah, it's dangerous there. They're, like, at night, but for the most part.
Yeah.
I was about to say, it's the Gangrel Terror. I take you to my favorite bench.
Yeah. There's places she can take you. You eventually make your way into the park. You believe to be safe where you are.
Yeah. As soon as we're out of, like, line of sight, the places I think we might be watched from. Cammy asked us to look into her ghoul being kidnapped. We found out that he was probably taken to the orphanage.
Okay.
And it was apparently a sting by the Second Inquisition. Ollie proceeded to kill 2 of them very messily.
Where's Ollie now?
He stormed off.
I had a little date with Rudy.
I heard that. Your cat. I hold up the cat.
Oh, hey, there's your cat.
I take Princess Bella. Pocket cat here. I take Princess Bella and I sit there petting her. I made a delivery to the prince and requested an ear, which I was granted, but I'm afraid now with whatever shit we've gotten ourselves into, that may not be an option.
Yes. It was... Ollie let his anger get the better of him. It was an obvious fuck you to him, the orphanage where his son grew up.
So the orphanage is taken over by the Inquisition. Why did we not tell somebody?
I don't know if it's taken over or not, but they certainly set the sting up there. Why else? We only found out a few hours ago. I was going to lie low.
Well, of course you were. Why didn't Camille go to the prince?
She did. Because they may have taken Aikido to get to her so that she could give them information on the Methuselah. The council said that she couldn't take it to anyone that we normally would take it to. They had to take it to someone who already knew, which was us. It was going great, actually, right up until that point. We worked pretty well.
And who gave Camille this information?
About which part?
About her ghoul being taken and all of this.
Her ghoul was taken almost right in front of her as she was trying to get into her apartment. There was a sound of a break-in. Her ghoul went in to check. Her ghoul went missing. She went in, no one there. And then she got a message saying, "Meet us here or the ghoul dies." You know.
People don't just disappear. Especially not somebody attached to a kindred.
I would have thought it was a kindred myself, but the Second Inquisition have their ways, I guess. They also have a kindred hostage. And Norris's ex-school is working for them.
And you know ghouls can inhabit the powers of those that they drink from.
Right.
It's possible that the ghoul dominated Aikido to follow him out the window.
So what now? I was coming home to share good fucking news.
Well, I'm probably going to keep an eye on the Haven a bit more just in case Ollie turns back up. Ava and Camille have got a hotel room not far from here.
Should go looking for Ollie.
He's probably in the sewers.
Surprise, surprise. Guess where Rudy took me. Speaking of Rudy. Strange one. That kindred.
He does show up and then disappear a lot.
He does. He's not exactly who I think we thought he was.
Not mysterious and reticent to show his face?
No, all those things he definitely fucking is.
Okay.
No. He shared with me he's La Sombra.
Zach suddenly, engages, sits forward, did you say anything else?
Oh, he said lots of things. He hinted very discreetly at the fact that his physical facade was a punishment or some kind of, I don't want to call it a bane, but a curse he wears. Something happened to him.
The La Sombra worked in the Sabbat along with the Zamichi. The Zamichi could change people's flesh, and I imagine he got the ire from one of them.
Rudy had me deliver something to the prince for the La Sombra. What I am still not privy to was in a box. I went against my better judgment and attempted to pick the lock, though failed miserably.
That might be a good thing. Meddling in the affairs of the
Rudy
prince.
told me that it would be the death of me, probably. But curiosity kills the cat, right?
Luckily not yet.
You know where Ollie went?
My guess is the sewers. He ran. We had a kind of an argument about the fact that he made it a very messy and explicitly kindred kill. I've seen the Second Inquisition in action before. I've no desire to see them more in the city.
You're thinking he did all of this simply because they were scouting the orphanage?
Looks like a setup. The meeting was meant to take place on the court. I had a look around. Where can you see the court from? The top of the building. Ollie goes up there, pushes one guy off the roof, and then the other guy runs downstairs and gets pushed halfway through a car.
So somebody was setting us up.
Seems that way. Either the Second Inquisition or a kindred who wants to play us to the Second Inquisition.
Okay, this is bad.
Yes.
We should tell someone. We can't just simmer on this.
Well, I assumed you were going to get us a meeting, so...
Well, I did, but not until next week.
With the prince and Lady Persephone?
Yes.
Lady Persephone wants to see me as soon as possible.
Well, sounds like we should make a trip back to where I just came from.
Where does she operate out of normally, Mathis?
Who? I'm sorry?
Lady Persephone.
Oh, Persephone? Persephone operates out of her own haven. You don't actually know where... You know where her domain is, but you don't know where her haven is.
Okay, so walk around a lot and wait until she shows up.
You want to walk around her domain until somebody approaches you and is like, what are you doing?
I assume that's the normal modus operandi for, come see me, I don't know where you live. I'll walk around your domain.
Well, usually what'll happen is you'll be approached by somebody of rank within the domain. They'll then bring the message if they need to, and then they'll set up a meeting, and it usually takes time.
Okay.
There is no quick way to get a hold of a kindred in a city who sits at a seat of power. It's not easy. Purposefully.
Well, it might take a while. She didn't give me her exact address.
So Persephone asked to see you directly.
Yes.
No, they sent somebody.
They sent Cammy.
Yeah.
Why?
I do not know. I assume she shares similar worries about the Methuselah. Apparently the council split.
Interesting.
Half the council want to destroy it, and the other half want to keep it as a threat.
Like a pet?
Kinda. Did you learn anything from Princess Bella?
No. Just what I've told you. And that we have a meeting. Approved.
The Haven might be okay. I'm being cautious considering what happened last time. But I thought it'd be wise for a few days to at least take a little bit of time away.
Ollie left upset, didn't he?
Yes. He was
Was
probably
he
doing me a
upset at
favor.
you?
Yes, we had an argument about him being hot-headed and me being too reserved.
I think I should find Ollie.
That would be wise.
If you find it wise, you can go have your meeting with Persephone right in the morning. But know that we have a meeting, and the prince has been made aware of this topic. Trust me, she too is thinking about what this Methuselah means for us. And by us, I mean kindred. And she allowed me not to feed from her. I know that you are wary of Bella. And I know that you are plotting, Zach, because that is how your brain works.
Naturally.
But I feel it would be wise not to pin yourself against her.
I'm plotting only to help.
Help who?
Help us. Help us by helping her. She's the one with the power. We're the one that have the knowledge about a possible sandwich trying to take over the city.
Do we have that knowledge?
We don't have any evidence of it. We have a lot of circumstantial information.
Careful, Zach. Circumstantial evidence can get you in a lot of trouble.
La Sombra... They get the powers from Livian.
You roll me for knowledge on that. Intelligence plus occult.
Kindred specialty?
Absolutely. Five successes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's okay. Very good. While you may not necessarily call it oblivion or any of that stuff, you do know that the rumors, you do know that they have shadow manipulation, and that the rumor or one of the many stories of how their particular antediluvian died was that he attempted, at the very least, attempted to cast himself into the very abyss.
Okay.
Which you know nothing really about other than abyss bad, dangerous, but...
Do I know the connection between abyss bad, dangerous, and ghosts? Like,
and
they get their power from...
You wouldn't know much about ghosts, no.
Okay.
You wouldn't know where they get their power from.
I'd be cautious about Rudy.
Yeah, no shit.
He has powers that none of us have seen.
He is a strange one. But if I remember correctly, he is at least in contact with the council. We have seen this. And his delivery was an offering to our prince from the Sombra to her. And she seemed very secretive about its contents, but was assured that it may help us with the sandwich problem.
She's the prince of the city, and he's doing some high-level politicking of his entire clan. I wouldn't expect to be let in on remotely what it was regarding. I don't find that unusual. What I find unusual is the timing.
He said he trusted me to be the person that delivered it, so...
The princess trusted you with quite a lot. Even Ava's jealous.
What?
You know how Ava is.
No, I don't. She's your sister.
Likes being around power.
If I could finagle my way out of it, I'd give it to her. Just hasn't worked that way.
I know. Not your fault. And I'm sorry that I held it against you. I tried not to.
You held it against me?
Not really. I was concerned, and I perhaps haven't looked out for you as much as I should have because I was a bit worried.
I've looked out for Dakota for a long time, all by my little lonesome. I appreciate your concern, Zach. But,
I find the time the concerning part. Why deliver the box now? It's been over a year.
maybe its contents needed to be found or collected. May not have been an easy thing.
Possibly. Sounds like a bit of an odd deal for such a large request. We will maybe find the thing if you definitely let us into the domain again.
No. This was not to be let in. This was an offering because they let them in. I do feel that Bella's choice to let the Lasombra in was for a specific reason, but the vibe that I got from Rudy was that this was to appease her. It was promised. She was expecting it.
Okay. Well, we don't exactly know anything about that. And it's probably a good thing you didn't open the box, because if anyone in
know, but I wanted to.
I know. I'd have wanted to in your position as well. But I wouldn't have.
You have some magic stuff to be able to see through a metal box, so...
No. Saito said that he would teach me some magic, and then Saito turned out to be...
Went off the deep end? Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not sure if he's off the deep end so much. He's very...
Lost.
busy. He has different political allegiances, and that I'm fine with. He made it very plain what he was going to do.
To you.
I told him repeatedly that we're not on the same side.
I'm going to go look for Ollie. If he is in a rage, it would be best to locate him before it gets worse.
Yep. I know
you
you
should
don't...
go have that meeting with Persephone.
I don't know where she lives. I think the easiest way will probably be just to leave a message for her.
Well, you are the man of messages.
So it's the one who Had Rudy write a message on her cat.
Hey, did you want me to chicken scratch it out and pick pictographs for you?
Well, the cat, when I spoke to it, did describe it as a date.
I look at my cat. Really?
It purrs.
Princess Bella has a particular sense of humor.
I can tell. I know you don't like phones, but hand over a phone. One number in it. Well, open it up. 2 numbers now. One of them will get you through to Cammy and Ava. The other one will get you through to me. They've never been used before. Use it, then destroy it.
I grab it like it's radioactive.
Just provided you destroy the SIM card after you use it, no problem. Don't make a call from somewhere sensitive.
What is a SIM card?
I open the back and I show her this like little bit of plastic, like snap that in half. Don't use it from anywhere that you don't want to be traced to. Use it on the move. Probably fine, but it's overcautious.
I have a... Did you say you spoke to Princess Bella?
I did tell you I learned a few things from you as well.
Like speaking to kitty cats?
And other cats. And birds. I'll be honest, the level of conversation is particularly good.
Well, at least we know you'll always have... At least we know you'll always have somebody to talk to, Zach.
Yes. By the way, I know you're still trying to read things. If you want any help at any point, maybe reading something more... more akin to your need for stories, tales. There's been at least one scholar of the Gangrel clan I know of who might be interesting to you.
Really?
Beckett. He's a much older vampire.
I've heard that name. The Gangrels in this park, they talk about him.
He's a bit of a rock star in terms of writing.
Do you have any of his writings?
I have some excerpts. I don't have much. I have more by his sire.
His sire?
Well, his mentor. I'm not sure the exact relationship.
How about this? When we figure out what to do with this sandwich and things have settled down, I would love nothing more than to read Beckett's writing.
There's also something in the work of his mentor you would probably like. The Tales of Lilith.
Lilith.
Some would say she began the whole vampire thing.
Oh. Now that's a bedtime story I want to read.
Well, hopefully at some point I'll get a chance to read it to you.
Here's to hoping, Zach. So, watch your back. I'm gonna go hit the sewers and see if I can locate Ollie.
Okay, let me know if you find out anything.
Right, I'll ring you. Sorry.
And if you want to find Ava and Cammy, they're at the hotel over here.
Yeah, exactly.
At Hotel A, B, and Z. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Then let's say on that, we take our break and come back for the next 2 hours.
Oh my fucking god.
Okay, thank you for watching. We'll be back in a few minutes. Feel free to enjoy some fan art in the meantime. And the thrilling conclusion of, oh god, what the hell is this mess, will continue to play out for the next 2.5 episodes. We'll be back in a few.
We'll see if it lasts 2.5 episodes.
Hello, welcome back. Mass is missing.
No, I'm just petting my cat.
Okay, that's completely makes sense.
She's hanging out.
Does it think you're on a date?
Nope. She is my date.
No. wait.
Everybody's gonna go get their cat. Minnie's just around.
Yeah. She's just been chilling this session.
Okay. Shall we continue?
Take it away.
Dakota, you make your way into the sewers and do your best to track as hard as and as best as you can. Unfortunately, Ollie doesn't really leave much of a trace. The only
okay.
Yeah, it's difficult to kind of follow where he went, but Dakota will eventually end up kind of shrugging her shoulders and more or less. I just want you to make to be 100% sure a wit plus survival check to try and maybe track a smell or something, but the sewers are kind of rough.
Can I rouse for that?
Yeah, absolutely. So hunger check first, then add 1d10 to your pool.
Okay, so
Okay, your hunger.
yay! Hunger does not go up, and we will go back to this roll with a 1. 3.
So you spend some time looking around. However, you actually do come across where it looks like something went down. You see the giant crack in the brick wall, the disintegrated brick dust that lies on the ground beneath it. But beyond that, beyond finding that, you're not quite sure where he went, where they came from. You're just kind of putting yourself in Ollie's mind, knowing his usual routes as to where he takes around. You do come across what looks like he punched a wall. Maybe it definitely looks like he punched a wall at the very least, which is also not necessarily out of the ordinary for an angry Ollie.
And Zach told me he had come in contact with Rudy. Did Zach tell me that, or just that?
No, Zach has no idea.
I have no idea.
No, nobody has any idea. Okay, cool.
No.
It's just he came in contact.
I would have loved to have told you that, but no.
Okay.
So we find Dakota kind of wandering the sewers for a while. As the camera pans up from the sewers into the ivory tower, we see Zach walking in. Zach has been here before, but the woman at the desk kind of furrows her brow and she looks kind of confused. And like, how can I help you?
The name's Zachary Heloise. I don't suppose Lady Persephone is in. She asked to see me. If not, I can leave a message for her.
There's a moment as she looks through her books and stuff. She's like, would you mind staying here? We have one of your coterie being held here, and we're just ensuring that things are...
Oliver Hopkins?
She nods.
Can I speak to him?
No, not without supervision anyway.
Can I speak to him with supervision?
She looks for a moment. She kind of she presses a couple buttons, picks up a phone, has a few quick words, closes it down. She puts the phone down. She's like, a few minutes, security will bring you down there. However, you will be staying here as well until we get a hold of the other two of your coterie. We put in a call in for Ava, and we have people out there looking for Dakota in the moment.
If you want, I can give Ava a call. And Dakota.
That would make things easier. I appreciate your offer.
Can I insight check to see if
What's
she
insight?
plans death?
Yep, what's insight? Okay.
One
She
success.
seems-
I will willpower that.
What do you get, 2?
It's only 2, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm still gonna do it.
Okay, go for it.
2 in total.
More successes. She looks nothing super. She doesn't look like she's like murderous intent behind her eyes or any of that.
But it's something serious that, like, she's got a serious message to keep us.
She's definitely being pretty to the point and very business.
Okay.
She's not being as friendly as you would hope, at least.
I don't suppose I see, like, armed guards or anything inching around, just making sure in case I try and run or anything like that.
No one's skulking around. There's always security here, though.
Yeah.
Every time you've been here, there's security, and that is still the case now.
Yeah, they haven't, like, closed in on the door or anything to try and prevent my escape if I tried and run.
No, they have
Okay,
not.
cool. Sure, I can give them a call.
She gestures to go ahead while you're here. She's like, do that now, and then we'll have you escorted to where Oliver is being held.
Do you mind me making a call from the premises? I generally make calls from not somewhere that...
If you're going to make a call anywhere, here's the safest place.
I call Ava.
Yep.
It's Ava or
Ava?
Cammy, so...
Yep. Ava, your phone rings. Cammy has disappeared in the night. She told you she has Primogen shit to take care of. Surprise, surprise.
Hello?
It's me. I found Dakota.
What number are you calling from? This isn't the one...
I gave Dakota that phone.
Oh, okay.
So, Dakota's gone looking for Ollie, and I popped into the White Ivory Tower to speak to Lady Persephone, who wanted to talk to me, and they want to see the entire Coterie. Apparently, Ollie's being held here.
Oh. Oh, God. Okay.
You can come if you want, but you might want to take
yes.
If you're sure, I mean, I don't want you to be held
No.
up.
I will be there right away.
Okay.
I'm on my way. And I hang up. And I will head right over to the Ivory Tower.
Do you give Dakota a ring as well?
I give Dakota a ring.
Dakota, this technology is ringing.
Like, look. Oh, right. Like, probably hold it up.
Shake it. Hello?
Yeah, I'm like, hello?
Walkie-talkie style?
Yeah, I try, and then I finally get it to, it probably rings almost too long before I flip it open. What?
Weird, yes, you do get reception in the sewers.
Ollie's here.
Okay, specificity is key.
The Ivory Tower.
Ollie's at the tower? Why?
He's being held here.
I don't even answer. I hang up and start running.
Okay.
Hello?
Do you do anything with the phone?
I smash the whole thing against the wall.
Just
Be
like-
damn some fucking card, yeah.
Can I get a strength plus brawl check from you, please?
Sure.
I want to see how because if you roll poorly, the SIM card might survive.
They're pretty tough. You don't deliberately destroy them.
I know.
Maybe not that tough.
That's a 4.
Okay. So you just, in a quick, swift motion, Dakota just smashes against the brick wall, plastic cracks and shatters and falls to the ground, and Dakota takes off in a sprint.
Zach takes the SIM card out of his.
Yep.
Snaps the SIM
Just
card.
kinda- now, did you want to go talk to Ollie on your own, or you want to wait for the other two before you speak to
I
him?
would talk to him immediately. Like, he's being held here seems
There's
unusual.
two security guards who are. You have the security in the building itself that wear a uniform, that wear kind of like an obvious like personal security, and then you have two men in very fine suits who approach you, weapons on their side, and they look to you and Zachary.
Downstairs, I assume.
They just start walking, leading you. You are led downstairs, and it's. I didn't really explain it to Ollie, but it's pretty plain. It's literally like a concrete hallway with, on each side, 3 steel doors on each side. Very prison-like in a very nice tower. And then they lead you up to the middle one on the left, and they bang on it twice. Butcher, you've been in here for about 3 hours, somewhere around there. You probably maybe lost track of time. It's been a while. Probably somewhere around 3 to 4 hours. The bang happens on the door. And one of the guards, one of the guys who brought Zach down says, Oliver Hopkins, Zachary Heloise would like to speak with you. And the door then unlocks a bunch, and then the door slowly gets dragged open with a scraping of steel on concrete. Light pours in a bit as it's literally single light bulbs dangling from a wire all in the hallway. So this kind of faint light pours in, and there stands a large man in a featureless, furnitureless cell.
Ollie, the entire Coterie are wanted here for some reason. I assume that the two guys
right.
Are the two guys like still definitely listening?
Oh yeah, they're definitely listening.
Otherwise, I would say to him to. By the way, they're listening. But if they're obviously listening,
No, there's one just in the doorway watching with his
that's fine.
crossed.
Do you want to wait until Dakota and Ava get here, or do you want to? What happened? Why are you being held here?
I don't know. It's probably because I'm 6'4", like 380 pounds. I charged in with this mask on. I was invisible, and then I wasn't. And I demanded to see the Primogen Council of the Prince because it's a matter of safety to all kindred in Chicago.
Okay.
Guess what? I've been sitting here for 3 hours.
You had me until that last part. Matter of safety?
Yeah, you heard right.
2 Inquisition guys or something else?
2? Potentially many, many more. And probably something far worse. But I'm just gonna spill it all out. I'm gonna let it all out right in front of whomever sees me that has any clout or balls in this fucking city. I'm done, Zach. There's nothing to gain for me here. Nothing at all. I only have everything to lose.
Zach sits down on the floor.
Okay. Just quiet and listen, or just kind of like in a very like, I guess we're just gonna wait for Ava to
No,
come in.
as in like, sure, if you want to spill beans, I'm gonna just sit down. There's no chairs. He looks around, just sits like
Gotcha, okay.
next to the
In
door.
a way of like, go for it. Does Butcher just spill the beans or no?
I'm gonna wait.
Okay.
You should know, by the way, that Dakota came back.
That's the best news I've heard all night long.
She had a run-in with your adopted sire.
I'm just gonna turn and hit the wall.
Full strength or just like
Yeah.
Go ahead and strength.
Yeah,
as
like
well.
just
No,
full strength.
absolutely. Fucking let's see how much of the concrete you destroy.
I also want to see how thick the concrete is, just out of interest. I want to know how much they fear him. Ooh.
That's a lot.
6 successes.
6 successes. And just a fit of anger, and in a flash, your fist just collides, and you find it halfway wedged into the concrete. And as you rip it out, a bunch of it just kind of collapsed to the ground. Both the security guards immediately pulled their pistols, and
I stand up, and I'm just gonna like, I won't stand directly in their way, but I'm just gonna be like, it's a wall.
Is he going to be a problem?
If he's a problem, he won't punch a wall.
They keep their guns drawn, though close to their chest and pointed down, with their fingers not on the trigger. Good trigger discipline, and just kind of keep it, but they keep it drawn.
Probably better trigger discipline than everyone else in the World of Darkness.
Yeah, exceptionally so.
They appreciate that. Ollie, that's... I mean, it wasn't a particularly good-looking wall, but that seems excessive?
You don't even know the half of it.
No, I don't. Dakota said he was acting weird, and I said that that's normal. He said that he's not who we expected him to be.
Rudy's working for the Methuselah.
Where is Zach at this point, out of curiosity?
As soon as he says that, I'm going to step to the side as much as possible, so I'm in the corner away from the door.
But where? And like in the hallway?
No, I stepped into the room to sit down in the room with...
Okay.
with
So you just
Ollie.
stand up and just get out of the way?
Yeah,
just
I'm
in
going to get
case.
out of the way.
Okay. The door shuts, locks.
Well, that seems to solve that problem. Is it pure concrete? Doors
yeah.
plain steel?
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, that makes it very hard to bug because it's sheer concrete across it. There's no way to hide a bug.
Yeah.
Okay. In which case, I just gonna walk very close to Butcher and just say, like, directly, like, head next to his ear. And he's La Sombra?
How do you know that?
He told Dakota. He asked Dakota to deliver something to the prince as a sign of thank you for letting the clan into the... back into the city. She took the gift without knowing what it was. She seemed to be expecting it. The prince took it, looked at it, and thanked him. She got a payoff from Rudy.
Are you suggesting something?
I wouldn't suggest anything at all. door severes, even if it's unlikely this place is bugged. What I'm suggesting is that we're loyal to the prince above all others if we're going to get through this.
Well, I'm certainly not loyal to Rudy.
What did he do?
He pretty much just asked me to go against my core values.
Murder your son?
More than just my son. Lots
Murder-
of kids.
Oh. Well, that just seems very dumb of him.
Likely a keto. Hell, Zach. He orchestrated the entire thing. His intentions were to meet with Camille.
He wanted to compromise her on the council.
He's working, or at least he's manipulating, the Inquisition.
He wanted us to destroy the Inquisition by having us realize that Akitu was in the orphanage.
More or less.
We do it messily, takes us out of play. Maybe suspected we were getting dangerously close.
More than that, he said that he would absolve me of my life boon that I still never agreed to.
You don't have to agree to a life boon if you save someone's life like that. It's just the way it is.
So I'm supposed to just be freely okay with torching another inside of someone else's domain of the block?
No.
That seems...
No, he's working for the Methuselah. He asked you to do damage and kill the cattle, the kine of someone else.
He did call them veal.
Most of these beef references, but okay.
It's funny, you think about it. Zach thinks about it. The Kindred really do use beef references to humans all the time.
Yeah, it's like, actually, it's quite... He probably put this down as like veal. That's interesting. I will look this up later. It doesn't seem important, but I want to know why
yeah,
the difference.
Why, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's his upbringing. Maybe it's the Sabbat referred to use a different language. Don't know. Well, for what it's worth, you made the right choice, even from my point of view. Did you kill
hit
him? Oh, you killed him.
No, I did not.
You hit him and you didn't kill him.
He hit really hard, though.
He made this smoke rise from his feet, this blackness, and he was gone.
Yeah, La Sombra do that.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Powers from the abyss involving shadows, manipulation, turning into a shadow, jumping between shadows.
I always wondered how he was always in the right place at the right time.
I assumed he was invisible.
Same. Needless to say, I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to get it all out.
Careful who you talk to. As soon as you came in here, it seems that they put a all points bulletin out for the rest of us. And we don't know who's on whose side. The prince just got paid off by Rudy. So whether that means that she's on the side of Razor Methuselah, which would explain why she hadn't made a decision already. I don't know. Quite frankly, all I'm looking out for is for us to get out of this alive. And your son is in the building directly over where the Methuselah sleeps. So your son as well. And Cammy.
From my knowledge, my son was adopted. He's elsewhere.
Oh. Didn't know that he'd been... Okay.
They were keeping tabs on him, but I don't even think he's here anymore.
Well, that's one less person to worry about. Cammy can take care of her own self.
Yeah, as we've seen.
The four of
I'm
us...
kind of ready to get out of here, Zach.
Wait for Dakota and Ava. If... Don't ask too hastily, but don't act too slowly if the time comes.
I'm all about leaping before I look. You know that.
Yes, I know, and I'm all being slow on the uptake, but this is one incident where I think that somewhere in between is going to definitely be the better one.
Yeah, it kind of works well that way because I'm the one that leaps before I look, and you're the one that looks 6 times before you tell someone else to leap. You know, you might actually make half a decent prince in the city.
Good to see that idea. Let's see
Rather
Zach
be the
showing
one 2 steps to the right and several steps behind. Someone else can take that job. They'll be here soon.
Okay. Ava will be the first to arrive. Well, actually, Dakota didn't get very far. Dakota would be the first to arrive. The
I
door
also have super speed. And
You have
if I'm in the
celerity.
sewers, I'm like,
Yeah, you're insane. So actually, when you see Dakota take off, it's a blur. It is your typical, almost cliche style super speed kind of look. You just see a blur moving, water that splashes when she's already like 10 feet ahead of where she once stepped. She is incredibly fast. And Dakota, you arrive at the Ivory Tower not long after you left recently. And at the front desk is that familiar face smiling, and she looks to you. She's like, Dakota, sorry we had to request your return, but welcome back.
quickly, where can I find our troublesome two?
She's like, you stay here. The other two are being kept safely, and we're waiting for Ava.
Yep.
Bella wishes to speak with the 4 of you.
Who
Wrong,
does?
Bella would like to speak with the 4 of you. Your friend, Oliver. He came crashing through, speaking of an evil and a threat to all kindred. Rather openly.
He's a rash one, that Ollie. But he's a teddy bear for real, though.
How many times are you gonna have to say that? She says that, but she says that in like a joking tone, not like in a condescending one.
As many times as it takes for everybody else to see what I see.
Well, we all have the ones we love, don't we?
So just
leaving Dakota kind of
yeah,
awkwardly
just like,
speechless.
she's like probably pacing like, at the box, like, come on, somebody come get me, you know.
And maybe about 15, 20 minutes later, the front doors swing open, and Ava, in the clothing she was in not, an hour or two ago before deciding not to attack the orphanage, strolls in.
Oh, I've run over and hug her.
Oh, hey.
Ava!
Dakota, you're back.
What the fuck happened?
Have you seen Zach or Ollie?
The woman at the desk, as you guys are chatting, she's like, good to see you, Ava. We'll get the other two up here right away, and Bella will be waiting to see you pretty immediately.
Oh, God. Okay.
Sat in the dark room. There's a loud bang bang. The door scrapes open with the 2 security guards sitting on the outside. The others have arrived, and it's time. Come on.
Whew.
You're brought up to the main lobby. Both Butch, obviously, and Zach, and the 4 of you are reunited once again.
Run over and give Ollie a huge hug.
Ollie, are you all right?
Not really, no.
Miss you. What happened?
It's gonna come out.
You're escorted to the elevator. This time, where 2 other security guards wait. 4 enter the elevator. They each stand in each corner, and you 4 in the center. It's a little cramped, but this is a luxury elevator. It's pretty fucking big. And you are slowly brought up to the top floor. Takes a few minutes. Security guards don't say anything, and I'm imagining the 4 of you don't. Before the elevators do open, the double doors are before you. But unlike last time, Dakota, the double doors are already open. And you see Bella gently pacing back and forth in front of the fireplace with the glass of wine, who you're not entirely sure if it's the same glass of wine or not, but the same bottle still sits there.
I take a knee. As
You
soon
walk
as we
in
enter.
and
Yeah.
take a knee.
Yep.
Everybody else?
Yeah. I will
Ada?
politely curtsy.
Ollie?
No.
No, of course not. Okay. She wheels as her dress gently kind of spins with her, and the security guards as well file in. The doors stay. One of the security guards grabs the doors and shuts them behind him.
How many security guards?
4.
We've never had that number of security guards when we've been in the room. Have we ever had any security guards in the room with her before?
The outside of the room.
Outside of the room, yes.
Outside.
Okay, but never in the room. Okay.
Never in the room. Bella, with a wine glass in hand, stops her pacing and eventually walks to the center of the room and faces the four of you. You all kneeling and Ollie standing. She eyes Ollie for a while. She lets her gaze linger. Ollie never takes a knee, presumably, and she never demands him to. Eventually,
you look incredible, Prince.
Thank you. Dakota, please stand. And she actually gestures for you to come stand by her side.
Oh, okay. I mean, I do.
Yep, and you do. And then she's like, Ava and Zach, please stand. Well, I wasn't expecting it to happen the same night it was requested. I had quite a lot of things to take care of this evening, but Oliver came bursting into my building and proclaimed a threat to all kindred. And then he needed to meet with them. It's of the utmost importance. So, Oliver, the floor is yours.
Tonight, we were requested by Camille to assist her, courtesy of your demands.
Yes, a concern was brought up of the Second Inquisition. If it was true that the Inquisition was here and they were trying to get a hold of one of the Primogen members, I'd rather not send anybody with any power or wherewithal of the knowledge of the city. So I told her that she could ask the four of you, but it would be up to the four of you whether you went along or not. It was your choice. You weren't demanded to.
It was. I'm just setting the scene, making sure that everyone is well aware and we're on the same page.
Sure.
We went along. Some of us feel like we have loyalties to Camille. Some of us just want to be good and help people out. Mostly me.
No,
I'm not very good at that boon business. We went to this place. I'm sure you've got the details of it.
I've heard quite a bit, but if you'd like to elaborate, you're welcome to.
We were told that we had to go to the orphanage where my son had stayed. I believe this to be a bit of a personal attack.
It's possible.
Definitely at least goading. And I must admit that for the first time, I received that attack, hostily so, and I allowed the beast to mix with me. I did not feed upon the men that were there. I spotted 2 Inquisition. There were Inquisition crosses on the orphanage. And when I told them, everybody decided that they were going to pussyfoot around and let Akito die. Akito has been helpful. Very helpful. And those that help you, I have a firm stance on not backing out and leaving them to die. Now, this is my second encounter with the Inquisition. First time I nearly died. Before I was saved by Rudy. And it's starting to feel a little contrived at this point, because I dealt with the 2 members of the Inquisition. I pushed one from a roof where he fell to his death. And then the other, I tackled into a car, crippling his body. I did not feed on any of them. I took the bag that one of them was carrying back to Camille. They contained various things, crosses, stakes, an old shotgun of sorts, whatever the case be. It's in her possession now. And then I became the bad guy, because I did what I always do, and I leapt and I took action, because it's what I always do. Dakota wasn't around to take said action, but I firmly believe that she would have as well, as she saw it a bit of a problem. I know that everybody thinks that I don't think that often, that I don't see things through other people's eyes, but I saw this as a threat. Not only was it goading, but it was a threat, and for the first time, I let something inside of me out. And it took control, and I didn't feed on those men. It does not look like a kindred was there. Now I know that the Inquisition, they're smart enough, they'll see through it. But after getting my verbal scolding, I left. My intentions were to leave the city. I was going to leave everyone behind because I'm nothing but a thorn in the metaphorical lion's paw. I'm a problem to everyone. If I'm around, their lives are in danger.
Before you continue, could you tell me why you believe that?
Trouble follows me. Always has. And likely always will. And I don't see people the same way that everybody else does. I don't see them as food, or recently, as I've come to find, as some kindred refer to them, as veal. I'll go into more on that in just a moment. I don't like knowing that I owe anyone, and I don't like anyone owing me. I just want to help my brothers and my sisters out. That's all. I left the scene. My plans were to leave. I was going to go through the park. I was going to see the gangrel if they were there, like Dakota had told me about them, because she said that they were all right people, that they kind of had their heads on straight. And just before I could exit Chicago, guess who would stop me? Rudy. You know Rudy, right? Everyone here is pretty familiar with Rudy at this point. Rudy stopped me and informed me that he was not Nosferatu, that he did not sire me traditionally because he was La Sombra, and that he had lied to me, which isn't much of a surprise. Rudy's pretty much orchestrated my coming into a kindred lifestyle since I was 8 years old, when he killed my father. Also, not much of a surprise at this point. I was pretty much predestined for this life.
So it would seem.
Continuing on, Rudy told me that he would absolve me of my life boon if I torched the city block, if I killed everyone inside of the orphanage, children and Inquisition and Aikido alike. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, because I'm not up to par on my rulings in Camarilla law, but if you act outside, isn't it a bit of a breach of a masquerade if you're going into someone else's domain and burning down buildings, especially without permission?
By the strictest of terms, their definitions, of course, that is a breach of the masquerade. But
more so. I didn't like this idea. I don't like the idea of being manipulated or controlled, especially by someone in Rudy's standing.
what do you believe Rudy's standing is in this city?
Oh, Rudy made it very loud and clear. He supports the Methuselah under the Ivory Tower. He told me that he doesn't stand with the Camarilla. He told me that he was orchestrating the entire event so he could speak to Camille. He wanted to manipulate her and control her, but it doesn't matter, that's Camille's problem. His problem was when he tried to manipulate me further, and now that I actually am capable of doing something about it, I hit him as hard as I could in that moment because he wanted me to kill children.
Is he dead?
No, because I don't know what La Sombra are capable of. Nobody tells me about the other clans and what they can do until it's too fucking late.
A very simple answer for that is because La Sombra haven't been part of the Camarilla in quite a long time. I'm not even entirely sure of their extent of their capabilities. Disciplines change over time. New ones get discovered, old ones disappear. Old ones reemerge, ask the Malkavians, and she smiles at Zach when she says that.
I smile but look abashed.
Of course.
Rudy has made it loud and clear that he wants me to absolve my debt by helping and becoming a part of Team Methuselah, whatever the hell that is. And I'm just not about it. I'm sorry, I hope that aligns with your ideals, but this sounds like a problem, and it sounds like a problem for all kindred, which is why I came here immediately. As much as I am a thorn in that lion's paw, I don't want to see anybody else get hurt.
Before we push on to everything you just said, I guess, you have procured evidence that Camille currently has that it is indeed the Second Inquisition that has the orphanage.
We left the bag at the scene for fear of it being tracked. You have Camille's word she is a primogen, and you have the word of this entire coterie. Dakota was not there, obviously. Almost certainly the Second Inquisition.
I'll talk with Camille then. We'll have a conversation, but I'll take you at your word for now. You did well in Madison, so you've earned at least that much. If it ends up being true, while maybe his terminology was rash and
He referred to people as food, as cattle, as veal.
She looks to you and, do you not feed on mortals?
I try to feed as little as I have to.
But it is still necessary for you to continue your life. They are food. Of course they are.
But I don't extinguish them. The cattle that I ate when I was alive, they were dead, and no, that does not absolve me of the crimes that I had committed. But the people that I feed upon, they live still.
Then, Mr. Hopkins, my question to you would be, what would you do about the orphanage? If the Second Inquisition is there, then, and they've taken the orphanage for themselves under our noses without us realizing, and they've been operating within Chicago far longer than we have expected them to. And if they are there, then they are beginning to spread like a cancer. And like any good cancer, they go for the weak cells first. Children. Indoctrinate them early. Makes them a problem later on.
Prince, if I can speak clearly, I don't want to bring up your past, as I don't claim to know it. But I ask you this. You were a child once.
Yes.
When you were a child, you were led to believe many things.
Yes.
Depending on how old you were, you may have heard about Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and all those other things. But when I was a kid, I was told about all of those things, and I was more or less forced to believe it until I could make my own decision about it. What I'm getting on about is that children are impressionable. And as opposed to just torching the orphanage, why not make them kindred supporters?
Perhaps it's your misunderstanding of how the Second Inquisition works. They care not for the individual mortal life. They care more about the bigger picture. Mortals as a powerhouse around the world. And in that, they have in the past and they will continue to kill, torture, and use other mortals if they believe. And if they truly believe it serves their end goal. I have no thought about it, Oliver. Those children are being tortured. That does not leave a mind, no matter how long it's been. And she kind of gently pats Dakota's shoulder.
If I may, my prince?
She looks to you.
There's additional information that might make it more worthwhile if the orphanage is a problem, if this is true. We know that they have a kindred captive in the basement.
Yes.
Unfortunate, but it would make sense. If they're looking to train them at the young age, why not introduce them to the monsters right then and there?
We also know that we very heavily suspect that the Ghoul of Norris is working with them, and this is how they managed to capture Aikido.
Oh. That piece of shit is still living, huh?
I think I saw some things in my vision about it.
Oh, you had a premonition.
Yes.
Would you care to elaborate?
I saw, well, the first one was more of a visual. There was three men. One sitting down writing a letter. One was wearing nice clothes, and the other was below him in chains. And it looked like the chains were literally going through his flesh. I couldn't tell where it was. It looked like a
She gives a look
prison.
of like disgust when you mention how he's being chained. Kind of scoffs.
Rudy orchestrated this tonight. He had some hand in informing the Inquisition.
Are you sure of that?
He admitted that he knew that it was there, that he was well aware of the situation. His intentions were to single everyone else out so he could get Camille alone.
Oh, right. You said he was attempting to make him. Well, I guess that.
On top of that, before I hit him, he said that times have changed. Things need to be different, and big things are coming, and that there is potentially corruption inside of the Camarilla, and that it's time for a change.
I see.
Where then he sang the praises of a woman, which I'm assuming, believedly so, is probably this Methuselah resting. That she is the answer. She is the one that will cleanse Chicago.
I see. Well, that is a problem then, isn't it?
Prince, I fear the box. It seems all too purposeful that Rudy would have met with me privately and then sought out Ollie for this task.
Dakota, it's clear why you brought the box. I believe that it was initially intended for Camille to bring to me. And was not able to do so, so he went to who he knew he could trust. You.
But it is true that they are trying to either change her or pin all of this on her to make her look guilty. Then what is in that box could be deadly.
Without prying too much into your affairs, I assume you've already checked the box and that its contents are suitable?
She walks off when you ask that question to another room briefly. It's only a few minutes before she returns with the box in hand. Rudy is correct in that things are different now. The world has changed so very drastically. The Camarilla has fallen in LA and Washington, D.C. It's a problem. It has caused us in the inner circle to question things. But more importantly, New York is under threat, from my understanding as well. The Sabbat are a problem. And New York struggles with them currently. But the La Sombra, for who they used to serve and what they used to do, many of them have turned their faces and heads on the Sabbat and back to the Camarilla. But someone who belongs to the Sabbat for so very long has a lot to prove if they want to be welcomed back to the Camarilla. There's a lot to show. This. And she kind of places the box, holds the box up.
What's this?
Sorry, go ahead.
What's this?
Oh, she's not giving it to you. She's just holding it and like showing it. She's like 20 feet from you guys. This is the offering the La Sombra of Chicago make to the Camarilla. What they offer us to be accepted back into the Camarilla for all their transgressions and all their crimes. Rudy is useful, well-intentioned, but sort of like you, Oliver, he's not the best with words. I fear what he was trying to say in the words that came forth are almost aligned, but not quite. She walks back a bit to the table and stands behind it. She places her finger under the lock. And in a swift motion, she rips the lock off. He's right. Things have to change in Chicago. But the one that sleeps below, she is dangerous. Incredibly so. Special, but dangerous. Dangerous enough that things and that precautions needed to be taken place. This box holds something of immense power. Something that the sleeping Methuselah wishes she could have again. But she won't. I won't give it to her. And with that, she flips the box open. And in an instant, there is a rush of wind. The lights flicker, and the entire room is cast in utter darkness. There's a groan, a moan maybe, possibly a distant scream. It sounds far. And within a few moments, the lights flicker back to life. It was so quick. So fast. Violent, perhaps. Before you stands Bella, just as she was. Wits plus awareness, all four of you. Coda, perhaps too taken with the situation. Ava, paying pretty good attention. Oliver, is that 2 10s or just one? 1 10?
Just one.
It is only Ava who catches just for a glimpse, for a brief moment. Bella looks the same. She stands, though she looks, her eyes are looking up to the sky for a minute as she's tense before she loosens back up. But her shadow does not match her movements. Ava catches that, just briefly. There's something slightly off about the way her shadow moves. She kind of moves her head back and forth and looks down at her arms. Takes a deep breath. The Camarilla must change. Its traditions are correct. Its goals are correct. But in modern nights, those who inhabit the modern nights are lost to their new ambitions. That will now change. Do you? She just looks up now finally from the empty box, and if you take a look at the box, it is just red velvet on the inside with nothing. There is absolutely nothing in the box.
Out of interest, my sense of beast power, does that give me an inkling of someone's
That
beast
gives
if
you
they change?
A threat, right?
It tells you when there's a threat, but I thought the essence of it was it also could tell you some slight vague details on a beast if there's like anything weird going on.
Look it up real quick for me, because your danger sense doesn't necessarily go off.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I don't understand.
I can get a sense of their nature, hunger, and hostility. The beast present in immortals, vampires, and other supernaturals.
The hostility hasn't changed. Her nature has certainly shifted. You can just feel it coming off of her, whether it be via her beast and yours or something in between. The air feels like it's shifted. It's a little chiller. It's a little cooler, but
it's not like a dramatic change, like she's just lost her soul and someone else's beast has taken
correct.
over.
It's not like that. It does not feel like she's in like inherently changed who she is.
If Zach were to assume that she's suddenly got the power of the abyss,
you don't know. There's no way to assume that.
Zach would assume it then.
I'm just gonna flat out fucking ask my prince. I don't understand.
I'm gonna panic, trigger potence.
Sure. The tail. It's a long one. Triggered. Hunger does not go up. Besides you saying my prince, I do not understand. You trigger your potence. Does Ava and Zach do anything?
I would ask my prince, what just happened? Your shadow.
So you actually mentioned the shadow, and she looks back.
Yes, I will mention it.
And as she looks back, and now all your attention is drawn to her shadow. As she moves and like looks to her shadow, she moves her hand. The hand moves, but it's off. Like it's off by a half a second. It's delayed. It's not 1-to-1. It definitely is off.
Would it be more correct to ask whose power just happened?
She looks to, she smirks a bit and looks to you, and she looks to Dakota and then Ava. Keen eye, Miss Eloise. Keen eye. The tale goes that a long while ago, This Illisombra sired a woman. Upon seeing her power and the destruction she wrought, they swore off ever siring another woman ever again. She disappeared. There's rumors she had sway over people through the 90s and the 80s, but there's no evidence of that. Whatever happened to this Illisombra, Methuselah, she somehow ended up here. But her danger was not something that those who put her into her slumber were comfortable leaving her just like that. So they severed her shadow from her very being, removed it entirely, and locked it away. Only the Illisombra who know where it's kept guard it. Rudy was very, very useful.
He brought you the shadow.
She merely smiles and nods to you, Ava.
What are your intentions now, Prince? Are you going to extinguish us here?
My intentions haven't changed, Oliver. They always were and always have been to keep Chicago safe. And the one that sleeps beneath this tower is still a danger and a threat. Rudy knew what he was bringing me. And in a way, he's right. This is a piece of her in a twisted and warped way, though severed from her. My plan is to ensure Chicago is safe and prepare for whatever is stirring in New York.
She's part of you.
In a manner of speaking, my dear, but not in a way where the risk of her dominating me exists. Not like a diablerie.
Or like a partial diablerie. You've taken some of her power, yet she's still alive, so her soul is still with her body?
Something along those lines, yes. And I am not going to annihilate the four of you. But the four of you are now privy to something. Knowledge nobody else has. She looks to the four security guards, and she makes a come here motion. They all walk over, and she taps the desk, and they place the guns on the desk. She takes each gun, empties the clips, takes out the magazine, each one, and takes the gun apart very quickly for all four of them. They stand before the four of you. Kill them.
I pull up my gun and I shoot the one closest to me.
They do not resist. You quickly shoot one in the head and he collapses as a pile on the ground.
I have been waiting for this.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god. I go on all fours at one of them. I'm going to tackle him and then break the neck, rip the throat open.
Yeah, they're mortals. So you rip open their throat. They gasp for breath. A couple cough up blood. Or the one that you're tackling at the moment coughs up blood as they writhe and die. Ava, do you do anything?
I hand him my gun.
Oliver, do you do anything?
I will take Zach's gun, grab one by the neck, slowly creep it back to the wall so I can just get it on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Just take the gun and
bang,
shoot his brains out.
Spatter of blood and brain matter hit the wall and kind of glop onto the ground as you have. Now he's limp in your hand as you're holding.
Yeah,
him. You just let him go.
Drop it,
and he collapses into a pile of flesh and bone. Oliver, do you take out the last one, or do you not?
Ask a question.
Please do.
Unlike everyone else, I want to know why.
Why what?
Why just kill them because?
because they know. Because if they're dead, then I am certain the only four who know are you. And should the knowledge leak, I know who I have to kill. I am trusting the four of you with this knowledge. It is because of the four of you that I have attained the seat of power that I have, and now once again, in a less direct manner, thanks to Dakota, I have this shadow. Limit those who know.
Will I be able to see my son?
There's the mention of the boy.
I just want to know.
See him in what manner? To visiting rites?
No. No, me being around him is a problem. I just want to see him.
Will you swear loyalty to me if I say yes?
If your intentions are to take care of the kindred in the city.
They always have been, Oliver, whether you believe me or not.
Prince, I've never bowed to anyone, but if you do right by me and by all of the kindred, then you have my loyalty.
You will be able to see your boy again. And I promise you, the life he leads now is one of joy and peace. And I want that to continue for him. And if Chicago falls, so will that.
I'll nod. And I'll walk over to the man. I'm assuming he's not resisting.
No, he stands there like a doll.
I'm going to feed on him and drain him. But before I do, I'll just whisper sorry.
And you kill him when you drain him?
Yes.
What's your hunger at?
3.
For the very first time. For the very first time. Oliver, when you drink him dry, to the point where you kill him, the hunger completely subsides. You are at hunger 0. It is gone. The subtle shake, the nagging need to feed. It's as though your mind clears of this constant stress, even if it's subconscious. It's gone. And he goes limp in your arms as you do so.
I'll just lower his body.
Everybody take a sting.
Humanity 5.
Except for Humanity 5, sorry. If
Yeah.
you have Humanity 5, you're fine. If you have Humanity 6, you gain a sting.
So
So
just
it's just me.
So just Ollie. Does Ollie react in any way? I'm very curious. This is something he's fought with since session 1.
There's probably relief, but it likely feels kind of disgusting.
I'm sure it does.
He understands the necessity of it, but it's not something that he wanted to do.
Of course. So just simple, kind of internalize.
Yeah.
Dakota walks over, blood probably still dripping from her hands, and if Ollie will allow it, she takes his hand and squeezes it a little bit, knowing this is probably difficult.
I don't squeeze back.
I will look to the prince. This information, you're trusting us with. Nobody else, not even the Primogen. The council. Why is that?
There are a lot of questions the four of you have that are not mine to answer. Why the four of you? Why, after so many breaches of the Masquerade, are the four of you still alive? Why are you privy to knowledge that any neonate would literally murder other kindred to have? I can't tell you that. It's not my answer to give. And, if I'm to be completely honest, It has nothing to do with what we're talking about now anyway. Those are your own personal journeys to take. And I am not the one to take you on those.
May I ask a more pertinent question? Considering that you have stated that you are not working on the same side as Rudy, what to do about Rudy and everyone working with him?
Rudy is on our side. Perhaps you misunderstood.
Okay, my apologies.
When he spoke of the Methuselah, she smiles and moves her hand around and gestures at the shadow. This is part of that being. He is too vague for his own damn good, and I will speak with him on that, especially if it caused our dear butcher here to run in a panic. We can't have that happening.
So you are on the same side as Lady Vanessa and Saito?
What do you mean?
I had assumed that they were part of possibly Saito, I'm not too sure. Lady Vanessa, I was almost certain, had been in the strings behind the...
Vanessa and I have a truce, as is tradition, between the prince and Vanessa. Beyond that, your assumptions are unfortunately incorrect. As far as Saito is concerned, he's an anarch and still a thorn in my side, and if he continues to be a problem, I'll have him killed if I must.
And the orphanage.
I will speak with Camille, and I will make a decision. But the longer they say, the more of a problem they'll become.
Considering the nature of what we suspect to be in the basement but aren't certain of, would it be wise to entrust someone to actually go in and deal with them directly, as opposed to just burning the place down and maybe not finding out if the Gaul is still alive, would be a source of information, or possibly even the kindred?
Do you believe the four of you could handle that?
I am not a combatant as experienced as Oliver or Dakota. They're better to answer that.
She looks to Dakota first.
What was the question?
Do the four of you believe you could handle the orphanage without burning it to the ground? Could you handle what's inside?
I cannot kill children, my prince. You know this.
That's not what I asked. Do you four believe you can handle the Second Inquisition in whatever manner you believe to be on your own? If you are able to remove the Second Inquisition and the children are not too far gone, I will ensure that that orphanage falls under the direct jurisdiction of the Primogen Council members who have that domain, and then they make regular nightly visits to keep it clean.
Out of game, did we also notice the shadow moving differently when it was pointed out?
When Ava said it, we all noticed.
Yes, when Ava said it, pointed it out, the three of you were able to notice there's a slight difference in movement of the shadow. It's subtle, but it's there.
The Malkavians. The twins. They're going to see the shadow. They saw through Zek before I even mentioned 10 words.
That's probably got something to do with the bond between all Malkavians.
And you don't think that they're not going to see a difference between the way a person walks in their shadow?
It can be suppressed. Rudy did it for long enough.
You bring up a good point, Butcher, and I will look into ensuring that this is more under control. Yes, my pet. And she looks to you, Dakota.
I'm concerned about the level of transparency of what you have done. Though I do not disagree with the want to gain power.
She smiles. Dakota. Maybe this is a better question for Zach, but you'll understand the point. If a bunch of neonates decide to walk up to a few decades old kindred and tell them that the prince has imbibed the shadow of a La Sombra and Methuselah sleeping beneath the ivory tower for own personal gains or whatever you feel to say. One, do you believe they're going to believe you? And two, once that reaches my ears, do you think I'll let you live? There's a safety in letting young kindred have knowledge. No one's going to believe you.
In agreement. Nobody ever believes Dakota. But you know that my concern is always your safety. And if the council finds out, and you keep it from them.
I welcome any council member to try and take it from me.
Of course.
There's a reason I am the prince.
Of course. Which is why I'm concerned for you. Greatest rulers always die when they fear they are invincible.
This orphanage. You're thinking that we could go there, extract what we can? Zach, was that what you were proposing?
I suggested it might be a better idea so that we can actually know if we got the kindred who is being captured and the Gaul of Norris, both of whom are information the Second Inquisition would definitely want to keep. If we burn the place to the ground, we would never know. I can't say whether we could do it or not. That skill set is not mine. If we could, great.
You have 48 hours. If you wish to make a run at this place, you have 48 hours. I will gift you that. Any longer, and I will take matters into my hands, and I will do what I feel must be done. If that includes killing everything that's inside, then so be it. I will do so. Chicago is not exactly a peaceful place. I must ensure the safety of the kindred above all else. Because if we don't have Chicago under control, the mortals are also at risk. 48 hours. You decide what you wish to do. If you do not act, the Camarilla will. But the Second Inquisition is not something that can be ignored. The longer we leave it, the more dangerous they become.
Yeah.
Prince, eventually what's in the basement is going to wake up.
Do you plan
Eventually.
on feeding it then?
No, I don't want to be anywhere near it. But I say that because she's gonna feel. She's got to be able to feel that. That's a part of her.
It's possible.
She's going to immediately come for you. Why would we ever risk freeing her, if you know that the moment she's awake, alive, that old, she's going to come right for you.
Your concern is legitimate. I don't know how she would react. I've only had this for minutes. I don't plan on waking it. I think it would be a mistake. But I also think killing it is also a potential mistake. I am torn, and I have been listening to the advice of my council. A decision must be made, but a rash, impulsive decision could have more dire consequences than one that we ruminate for a few decades if we must.
It would seem both the Sabbat and at least another faction are interested. One faction, I believe, wants to wake her up. The other faction wants to diablerize her and consume them.
The Sabbat are a problem. You're not wrong. Again, if the whispers are to be believed, New York is struggling with them in the current moment. And if they succeed, New York, I expect them to be here at some point.
They were here a year ago. We already know that Smichi and one Gangrel approached our coterie. The fact they've been silent for a year, to me, is more worrying than not.
They are kindred like ourselves. They operate on a longer timeline than you're used to. I'm sure that they've been scouting Chicago. I don't have any doubt. Again, everything is to be believed. New York is struggling. It's why I take the actions I take now. Preparation for something much bigger. You all... I feel an unease about you. You feel uncertain.
Since the day we met each other, we've been told one thing and another's happened.
Such is the
And
way of our life.
It feels like that. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. You never were. Zach has every right to be paranoid, as do you, Butcher, Ava, and Dakota. You must find those you trust the most and trust them. If you want the Camarilla to succeed near Chicago, if that's your loyalty, the Camarilla, you're looking at your best bet. Because what they've tried in LA, what they've tried in DC, and how the kindred around the world are collapsing as signs of Gehenna show themselves, whether there are those who want to believe it or not. And we must be prepared.
Just to double check, you believe and put credence in the prophecies of Gehenna?
I don't put full credence, but any leader would be ignorant to ignore those signs that have shown up. Why pretend something isn't happening when it is?
In which case you have my allegiance.
And the three of you then.
Of course.
My loyalty is with the Camarilla still. And if you say what you're doing is for the best of the Camarilla, then yes.
I follow and echo Ava's sentiment. I just want to make sure that these three and my son are alive. And I will bow in allegiance. But I won't follow blindly. I'm going to ask questions. And I'm sorry if that's a lot to ask, especially in your position.
Then you do me a favor, Mr. Hopkins. If you're going to ask questions, wait and think about who you're going to ask those questions of.
Who do I ask?
Those you trust.
You're looking at the people in the room, including yourself now.
Then ask only us. If you believe asking questions is going to get you into trouble with whoever it is you're speaking to, then don't do it.
I feel like there's a misdirection. I'm asking, can I speak with you?
Yes. The four of you will be able to speak with me.
I'm not going to be thrown in a cell for hours again.
Unless you come in barreling like you did.
Well, I don't think she's going to forget my face.
That's fine. Good.
I know that we are not in a position to ask for anything, but I have something I would like you to think on. We hold information now for you, for us, and only us. Rudy made a mistake in how he approached this entire situation.
I agree.
Ollie owes him a life boon.
I understand.
I
He
would-
looks to... Oh, no, she actually cuts you off and looks to Ollie. Would you like it removed?
I would.
Consider it done.
I will bow in allegiance.
I join Ollie in the bow, still squeezing his hand.
There is only one flaw I can see. We're of low generation and easily manipulated. If the opportunity would come up that someone had broken the Camarilla law and would be put to death, would it be possible to earn a diablerie of them? That would make it harder for us to be manipulated.
That's a hell of an ask.
He's
It
not
comes
wrong.
up as a thought.
It's not something I would immediately ask either, but he's not wrong.
I will consider it wholly dependent on who it is I'm putting to death and for what reason. It will be a consideration and nothing more, and I cannot promise you anything more than that.
Very well. I
You're
just wish to
getting-
raise what I thought was a possible mistake in planning, had we not considered it.
You've asked for so much already. Is there anything else the four of you need to know?
No.
How would you like us to deal with Rudy if he should approach us again?
Do not kill him.
Okay.
Beyond that, do what you feel.
I do feel like there is something else worth noting. There is a very good chance that I say reasonably so that Snitch is aware of this as well.
Of what?
Of this.
This meeting?
S-
This meeting?
I reasonably so believe that Snitch is aware that Rudy was already a Lasombra, and that he may have been holding something important, and Snitch is a very, very intuitive and smart kindred. He has shown promise in knowing anything and everything.
It's his job. But I will speak with him. And I appreciate the information. If I can't trust my own Primogen Council, then who can I trust?
Us.
She grins to you, Dakota. You have at the very least proven that. And Ava to a degree as well. I'm eager to see what the next few years brings us.
Shall I report when the orphanage has been taken care of?
I'll imagine if you do not report to me in 48 hours, I will assume it was not done, and I will take care of it myself. You do not need to come to me if you haven't done enough or haven't done anything.
If things get messy at the orphanage, because I won't lie to you, a lot of missions we do end up getting messy.
Dakota's splattered in blood.
Yeah.
I can volunteer to take care of it.
In what manner?
What you and the Camarilla were planning on doing.
Ah.
I will do it.
Understood. I will take you up on that offer if we need to do it. I would appreciate that. Your coterie isn't going to prevent you from doing it if it needs to be done, are they?
I just suspect that if things go wrong, that something will need to be done immediately. We don't want to wait for you to send somebody.
She's not
I can
wrong.
I can take care of it. I know that
If you're willing
Mike-
to take care of it this way, why don't we do that this way anyway?
because Zach brings up a good point. There's a chance that we could at least get some information in there. If we can get Aikido, if we can get Norris's ghoul. But there's no guarantee that can happen. And if it goes wrong, I know my coterie has their reasons they can't do this, but I've come to a point of acceptance. I can do it if need be.
Understood. I'll take that in consideration, Ava. Thank you.
My belief that we should get the information is primarily based on the fact that I think we've been fighting this war with the Inquisition wrong. They can keep recruiting. They've got 7 billion people. If we wipe out a few people in one orphanage, they'll come back later. It'll take them time to set up and time to get funds and time to recruit people, but they'll keep coming back. We can't say the same. We need information on them to be able to take them down.
48 hours.
Yeah.
Lady Persephone is asked to speak with me. Should I be concerned?
Not to my knowledge. She's done good work for us in the past. She takes a minute. So does Michael. As an offering, I can have you meet with her tonight if you'd like.
That would be appreciated, rather than waiting 48 hours.
Oliver, I'll have you taken to your boy tonight. You will see where he lives and who watches over him. You will not be allowed to communicate or make yourself known. That cannot happen.
I wouldn't dare try. Thank you.
If that's all. Zachary, feel free to wait in the lounge. The 4 of you are dismissed. Oh. Before you go. Thank you. You are dismissed. The doors are left there. You have to open them yourselves. The guards are dead.
Right.
And the 4 of you make your way to the elevator and walk out. You find yourselves in the elevator by yourself.
I hold my hand over to Ava to get the gun back.
I will give it back.
Who wants to go home?
I don't. I want to see Rowan.
Is there somebody there to lead us, Methus?
When you get down to the lounge, there will be a couple people waiting for Butcher. Zach, you're going to be left waiting in the lounge for a little while. And the other 2, you're just free to go. If you want, obviously, as the offer is always on the table, if you want a limo to take you back to the Haven or a car or whatever, it's always offered.
Ollie, do you want us to go with you?
No, I don't think so. I feel calm. I don't feel that unrest anymore. Things are starting to feel right.
I told you they would.
Why didn't we just do this earlier? We could have just came out and said everything. God, I'll tell Mom every time if it makes me feel this good. Jesus.
It could have also been the guy you drained, could it?
No, maybe, I don't know.
Draining people like that can be seductive. I think we all agree that you're the heart of this coterie. I hate to see it slip away.
I'm guessing it's okay to go back to the Haven.
If the Secretary of the Inquisition haven't hit it already, and we're still expected to hit the orphanage, then I guess they don't know.
So, top of night tomorrow, we'll plan an attack on the orphanage.
We can always attack the second night, we can do recon the first night.
But,
yeah.
So we break and we meet again?
Hopefully we can all get back tonight. I don't know how long I'll be. I don't think Ollie will be all that long.
I guess we'll wait for you then.
Yeah.
At the Haven.
Yeah, and by the way, we survived that.
Somehow.
Good work, team.
Yeah.
Actually give a little punch to Zach's shoulder.
Zach always gets knocked over.
I look at Ollie and I'm like, go find some peace.
Before I leave, I turn to Zach. See, not everything I do is bad.
I mean,
sometimes it kind of works out.
Sure. I did feel like I was going to get thrown under the bus there at the end, but we got through it. And I know you're a good fighter, but it's an orphanage possibly full of Inquisition. And we probably won't know who is Inquisition. You're going to have to kill every single adult in there.
Except Taquito, right? And
well, if you can keep Aikido alive, and you can keep the Ghoul alive, and you can keep the Kindred alive, everyone else.
Do I know what Norse school looks like?
Yep, you met him.
Okay.
Session 1.
Oh, that D-bag. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
He gave you your first job.
He did.
He was also instrumental in having me dipped in acid, alkaline, and Ava burned, so I would
Yes,
like
he
to
was.
visit him.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got a bone to pick with that guy too.
All right. There's a couple things I want to. Oh, yep.
Dakota? How can you read some?
Yeah, maybe. Depends what it is.
Far end of the bookshelf. Bunch of papers wrapped together with a leather cord.
Hey.
If you need any help when I get back, I can read it for you.
Hey. You think? Not a porno, is it?
It does have a
It's
tale of
joke,
sex.
Zach, it's a joke, and I punch him again. Maybe in all of this you'll find a fucking sense of humor.
Well, a little bit difficult to be humorous when an entire orphanage of children lies on our shoulders, but sure.
Sometimes you have to laugh when you can.
Another fucking
And
joke.
I look at Ava and I'm like, you want to go home?
Yeah, let's get out of here.
And on my way out, I lean over kind of I get on my tiptoes into Ollie's ear and I whisper, you deserve this. And I plant a kiss on his cheek and I grab Ava and start walking out.
Yeah, I'll kind of give Ollie like a rub on the shoulder before I leave too, just as to say goodbye.
Okay. Two of you head out. Zach's going to wait. For now, we're going to focus on Oliver. I'm at a little bit of an impasse because we're coming towards the end of the session. And next week, no Bub, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if we'll have time to do the orphanage thing tonight, is my concern. Just trying to figure out how I want to do this.
You could say delay the orphanage a few more hours just to make sure, and then do the orphanage in a week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. Yeah, you know what? We can do some stuff in between.
We could always open on Butcher getting back from seeing his family.
Yeah. Why don't
Well,
we?
I won't be here next week, so
That's what I'm saying. Next week, you're not.
The
gonna be here,
finale,
so-
we can have
but
done
we
the
can,
research.
we can always scout the orphanage. We already said that too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we can always scout it without him.
Yeah.
Finale
that's
can be
fine.
explosive.
Yeah, I like. I have an idea.
We
Yeah,
hate
okay.
math.
Okay.
This is
Yeah.
Let
This is how we got here.
Because I will forget. Let me write it down. Just give me a second. Beyond that, actually, the camera turns to Ollie. As we see Ollie ushered into a car at some point, but just two unnamed guys. They don't say anything other than your name when they first see you, and they immediately begin driving once you enter the car. You drive for a couple of hours, opposite direction of your train yard to the north end of Chicago proper, well outside the city. Eventually, you led into what looks like kind of suburbia dreamland. You know what I mean? Like it looks like your atypical suburban white picket fence, 2-story house, happy family, dog in the yard kind of place. Every house has that feel to it, even if they're not necessarily identical to one another. And you're eventually brought to a bright red house with white trimmings, Probably built sometime in the 70s, just by the way the architecture looks, though definitely redone a few times over the course of a couple of decades. And they park on the a few houses down from there, and they kind of nod, and they give you the address and say, "That's the house there. You have 10 minutes."
It won't be long.
They stay in the car.
I will.
Do you go across the street? Do you how are we going to see Ollie kind of approach this place?
Invisibly.
I figure. So go ahead and rouse check me.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the nerves, maybe it's the excitement, but as you are approaching and getting ready to go invisible, once you enact that ability to disappear, the subtle shakes return, and that tiny nagging comes back. You were free of it for a couple of hours.
It's all right. It keeps me focused.
Okay, you're invisible. You just
I
walk
like it
right to the window, basically.
I'm gonna make sure that I stay immediately out of sight first, and see if there's anything that might be problematic for me. But
sure. And you said you liken the shakes to kind of like what?
It's like just a reminder of being human.
Yeah,
that not everything is glorious all the time.
So you scout the building to the best of your ability. Can I get a wits plus investigation roll, please, as you kind of case it, just to make sure everything's safe and look for a nice area where you can kind of peek in?
Sure. I got a 1.
Okay. You're not entirely sure. You feel like it's comfortable, but there's always that nag, that paranoia that somebody's watching. But that's also
could I willpower it just curiously?
Yeah, I mean, yes, you could will, but you would only reroll 1 die.
Only 1? Okay, never mind then.
So, but be that as it may, you're still invisible, and you know that's still very difficult for anybody to pierce that's not a kindred. They'd have to be forced to see you in order for it to break. We see Oliver making his way to the windows then, or do you want to stay like a house on way? I'm curious how close you want to get.
Is it fenced in?
Yep. Fenced in, it has a yard. You actually see in the driveway itself a basketball hoop connected to the top of a garage with a basketball just in the middle of the driveway.
Okay. Yeah, then. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of look around to see even the parents. I want to see what they're like.
Sure. So you're gonna look around the house. It is late. It's about midnight-ish at this point after the meeting. And as you peruse around the house, you do notice that there is a light on in one of the back rooms. And as you make your way over and you kind of peer into the window, it's actually the master bedroom. And you see a woman and a man. The man is out; he is sleeping, and the woman is watching something on our tablet. It's emitting enough light to show some, you get a little flashing lights at the windows and kind of drew your attention over there. And she's just watching something on the tablet. They both look like they're in their 40s, maybe early 50s. Well taken care of at the very least. The dad, or the man at the very, you assume would be the dad, the adoptive father. He's seems kind of tall, but beyond that, they both seem relatively average looking.
Okay.
Continuing to case the house.
Yeah.
You find the kitchen and the living room, but eventually, it's on the second floor. You can make your way up there easily with your ability to jump and climb. A kid's bedroom. There is still a little bit of light coming from a television in the corner of the room. Looks like it's kind of dimmed itself a bit, probably automatically. And in the bed, unconscious, tangled in blankets, his right leg is hanging out of the bed. He's got another one just kind of up and around. He's sleeping with his mouth open. There's your boy. You see a poster above his bed of his favorite basketball team. You see gloves dangling off his post. You recognize those gloves. It's kind of messy. You wish he'd clean his room a little bit, but he was always kind of a slob. And there he is, peacefully sleeping.
I'll just stare a while.
Would Ollie lose track of time?
Likely. He likely would lose track of time.
Give me an intelligence plus awareness check to see how long past your 10 minutes you go.
Oh, that's balls.
Ooh.
Okay.
Not too bad. Not too
That's
bad.
my max.
Yep, that's about as best as you can roll minus critting. You take a little while, and you actually hear a very short, quick beep from a car that kind of snaps you out of it, and you realize, well, you're not sure how long you've been here. It's probably been longer than 10 minutes. You see Rowan actually kind of stir when the quick car beep happens.
I'll go before he can notice me, or even before he has an opportunity.
So you quickly clamber down, land on your feet easily, and usher yourself back to the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
When you pop into the vehicle, the same driver and the same other guard is sitting there, and he looks back and he's like, "You're late."
Sorry, time just got away from me. It
Everything
won't happen
good?
again. Everything's fine.
Car starts. He leaves it at that, and he drives off. How does Ollie feel after all of that? What is running through him?
Kind of at peace. And this is kind of what he's wanted for a while. You know, he told original Rowan that he would get him out of there. He didn't know how yet, but his intentions were to get him out of there, get him in a home. And now he feels like he's succeeded. Like it was all for something. Even though he knows that the real Rowan is out there having a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Albeit it's a very different kind of chance. A chance.
Okay. The camera will kind of pan and pull out of the car and linger in the sky as the car drives out. The tail lights disappearing into the distance as the fog rolls in. And we'll fade to black, and we'll pick up with the meeting between Persephone and EE beginning of next week. Because 15 minutes is not nearly enough for the conversations that are going to be had.
Well, we survived, everybody.
Yeah.
We did.
I'll be honest. I missed 2 weeks and came back thinking, this is it. We're all freaking dead.
I was monitoring my pulse all the way from going down to the concrete room to going up, and I was like, "Yep, that hit 95 there."
If all your assumptions were correct, then yeah, you all would have been dead.
Oh.
If
I
everything
kind
you
of wish
assumed
Dakota
was
had
right.
opened the box now. Dakota
Okay, so
overpowered.
knowing now, that could have ended real bad.
Oh,
Certainly
yeah.
would have been very interesting.
Yeah.
It's good self-control because I would have been like,
Oh, I tried to open
No,
it.
she failed
yeah.
herself.
I failed the roll to open
That's
it, so I
true.
did try.
Yeah.
That would have probably ended with a dead Dakota, but an uber-powered Dakota for most of it.
I would have gone out fighting with a lot of power, that's for sure.
Yes, you would have certainly been a little different.
Oh my god. Mathis, I feel like you would never have forgiven me. I was like, I crushed the box open.
I put that thing in your hands knowing full well there was a chance that thing was going to get cracked.
Yeah, I
Way
really
better you
considered
than
it. I
me.
also, you know what's funny? I also thought about going to find a replica box. I got the wrong one. That was also, and I was like, wow, Chelsea.
You know what?
You
Zach
really
is the
wanna
most
die
honest
today.
of all of you. Zach would have just taken the box and gone, "No, this is way above me. Take it away."
The
I mean, that's
difficulty-
basically, yeah.
The difficulty would have been when Bella asked you any questions and you were just
Yep.
going like, I have to tell her the truth.
Yeah.
You're still
Oh,
at-
you
you're still
know,
at
just the
power
shadows
3.
are dancing behind her, and she's like, "No." That's it. It's like shadows.
Yep, yeah, that's true.
Oh man, so much to talk about. After show hype.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we're going to go to an after show. First, let's go through wherever you can find everyone. Let's start off with Mathis. Who are you? What are you doing when we find you?
I am Mathis Games everywhere. Twitch, YouTube, Judge Mathis Games as well, Chilluminati Podcast, and Lost Initiative show as well for Wednesday and every other Thursday night D&D sessions. That's me.
Okay,
Yeah.
what about Tracy, Miss Magitech, Ava? Who are you? What are you when
Yes.
we find you?
Hello, everybody. Tracy, also Miss Magitech. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Miss Magitech. Mostly Twitter lately. You can follow my latest tabletop D&D, all those things, all my antics are all on there. So, yep, that's me.
Okay, Bub, Ollie, Hopkins, Bub or not?
Yeah.
Who are you? What do you want me to find you?
Hi, it's me, Bub. You can find me all over the internet as the Bubbernaut. I'm on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. I've got my own Discord. We do lots of tabletop stuff, lots of community gaming. Recently, it's been heaps of Hammerwatch and Risk of Rain. Also trying to get back into Deep Rock Galactic since they just keep rolling out new patches consistently. So if you like group gaming and tabletop stuff, particularly Pathfinder and all other things involved, then come find me.
Okay, and Dakota, Little Red Dot, Chelsea, who are you? What do we know when we find you?
Yes, I am Little Red Dot. You can find me online on Twitch and Twitter as Little Red Dot, where most of my channel is dedicated to giving indie game designers a chance to have their stuff played. So we just launched a brand new campaign of Witch Girl Adventures if you need a little teenage sass in your life. And I will be, I'm very excited that Sunday we'll be launching a brand new game called Owl of Laesia, which is a high fantasy game using a cipher system. You can check that out on Sundays, every other Sunday moving forward, which is very exciting.
And EE.
And EE.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. That's
Thank
Mikey.
you.
Yeah, EE, please tell us
I
about.
thought she was going to lead with it. I was like, I'll take it. Okay.
No, I totally forgot.
You go for it, boss.
Wow, thank you. Hi, I'm Andrew Elysium. You can find me at youtube.com/Andrew Elysium, where I have videos on Imperator Rome, which is from Paradox, and I got 2 hours access to early. You should go check that out. I don't at all have a civil war. Nope. That was great. Also, I have things like Battlefield Gothic Armada and Satisfactory with Bentham, where we both whine at each other and people say, why aren't we married yet? It's true. It's true. And also, I stream on Tuesdays. I'll be joining Josh on Monday. I'll stream on Thursday and Saturday. Yeah, there are things. Lots of things. Right. By the way, tomorrow is the 5th episode, I believe, of Masks. If you're interested, you should definitely check that out. It is good fun, and half the cast nearly cried last episode, so do check it out. We had a tip today from Vo. It's a friend's birthday today, so we won't be able to catch the show live for $3.14, but I always look forward to the VOD regardless. Will Ollie just murder Rudy? Will he drag Rudy in front of the camera? Will Rudy just get away? I look forward to finding out. Well, there you go. You found out, if you're watching this now, I guess. Thank you very much. And we did have a lot of bits and stuff today, including some gift subs. Ooh. And some new subs as well. So thank you very much to everyone who did so. Thank you very much. Right, we're going to go away and record an after show. We have a lot to talk about, but in the meantime, may the dice roll over in your favor.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, and next week we'll have an announcement